Chapter 1567, Persuasion 2. Ning Hai, you are not allowed to interrupt. Ning Yin glared at Ning Hai and said. Then she smiled and guided Ning Shan. Ning Shan, tell me what's going on. Lung Ruoshua looked at Ning Yan's expression, which was like a big bad wolf seducing Little Red Riding Hood, and laughed in her heart. However, she would not stop Ning Yan, because she also wanted to know what had happened just now. Seeing Ning Hai's cautious look, he would not tell them on his own initiative. Although Ning Shan wanted to say it out loud. He had just received his brother's warning. For a moment, he didn't know whether he should say it or not. He knew Ning Yan's identity, but he wasn't sure if Ning Yan would stand on his side. After all, their family was just a side branch of the Ning family. Ning Shan, if you want to be a man, then tell me quickly. Seeing that Ning Shan did not say anything for a long time, Ning Yan was furious. However, she did not expect that the other party did not dare to say anything because he did not trust her. Shana, tell Big Sister what happened just now. Big Sister will help you. Seeing this, Lung Ruoshua took the opportunity to coax her. Before this, she and Ning Yin had only heard the second half of the conversation, so they were not clear about the cause of the incident. Sister Ruoshua, when Ning Shan heard Lung Ruoxu's words, tears welled up in his eyes. Then, he explained the situation in detail. It turned out that the Ning family's head butler had taken a fancy to the two brothers and wanted them to marry his sister and daughter respectively. He had even sent someone to propose marriage, but the two of them were unwilling, so the other party had threatened them, and thus, they had parted on bad terms. After Lung Ruoshua heard this, she was dumbfounded. She never thought that the cause of this matter was actually a forced marriage. However, that head butler's guts were really not small. Did he really think that his sister and daughter were golden dolls? She didn't want to marry him, so he wanted to make things difficult for her? This Ning family wasn't something he could cover the sky with one hand, so how could he dare? This is preposterous. After hearing Ning Shan's words, Ning Yan's beautiful face turned red with anger, and her beautiful eyes glared at Ning Hai with dissatisfaction. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Just now, she had heard from Ning Shan that this was not the first time the head butler had sent someone over, but she had no idea at all. This made her exceptionally angry because in her heart, she had already determined that Ning Hai and his brother were under her protection. Under her watch, someone actually dared to have ideas about them. This made her feel that she had failed her duty, and she became more and more angry from embarrassment. This is just a small matter. I don't dare to trouble the young miss. Ning Hai said with his head lowered. In fact, he felt that he was not familiar with Ning Yin and didn't want to owe her a favor. At the same time, he thought that he could settle this matter himself. He didn't expect that the head butler of the Ning family would become more and more aggressive. However, he believed that as long as he won this competition, the head butler would think twice before touching their entire family. You really are a blockhead. Ning Yin was furious and started searching the yard like a headless fly. She wanted to find a stick to teach the ignorant Ning Hai a lesson, but she couldn't find anything useful after searching for a long time, which made her even angrier. Sister Yin, what are you looking for? Lung Ruoshua asked in confusion. Find a stick. I'm going to beat him up. Ning Yin said in a bad mood. Sister Yin, there's no stick here, so don't look for it. Lung Ruoshua was speechless. She really didn't know what Ning Yin was angry about. It was just that Ning Hai didn't tell her about this. In fact, with her understanding of Ning Hai, she knew that Ning Hai wanted to settle it himself. In addition, he didn't want others to say that he relied on nepotism. To put it bluntly, Brother Ning's self-esteem was too strong, and at the same time, he was too upright. He didn't want to take the crooked way. I want to beat him up. I took such good care of him, but he actually treated me as an outsider. Ning Yin roared. Hearing Ning Yan's words, Lung Ruoxu's forehead was filled with black lines. She thought to herself, aren't you an outsider? Moreover, she was an outsider with a high status in the Ning family. However, Ning Yin was still in a fit of anger, and her words would only add fuel to the fire. Young miss, I didn't mean it that way. Ning Hai explained guiltily. In fact, he felt that the difference between their statuses was too big, so he had never been able to treat Ning Yin the way he treated Ruoxue. Then what do you mean? Ning Yin asked, her beautiful eyes staring at Ning Hai. I just feel that I can solve this matter myself. Ning Hai said honestly, how are you going to solve this? Ning Yin raised an eyebrow. As long as I can win the family competition, I will naturally be valued by the family. At that time, even if the head butler wants to force me, he will have no chance. Ning Hai said with confidence, don't you know that the king of hell is easy to see, but the little devil is difficult to deal with? Even if you won the family competition and received the family's attention, your foundation in the family is shallow. Do you think you can win against the head butler who has deep roots in the family? Although the head butler is only a servant, he has some authority in front of many elders and acting family head. Otherwise, why do you think he dares to be so arrogant? Ning Yin told Ning Hai the cruel truth. Although she didn't care much about the family affairs, she was very clear about the twists and turns in the family. Lung Ruoxue knew that Ning Yan's words made sense. Since the head butler had his eyes on Brother Ning, he naturally wouldn't let Brother Ning escape so easily. Furthermore, the head butler of the Ning family had deep connections in the Ning family. If he randomly found a mistake and framed Brother Ning might not be able to take it. At the thought of this, Lung Ruoxue smiled and said, Big Brother Ning, it's indeed not easy for you to go head-to-head with that head butler now. Although he's a servant, I heard that many direct descendants of the Ning family have to flatter him in order to get a good job. That's right. He was personally promoted by the second elder. That old man, the second elder, has always been nepotism. You can't win against the head butler. Ning Yin spoke the truth. Although it was cruel, it was the truth. Then what should we do? Ning Shan and his parents were a little flustered. Don't be afraid. You are under my protection. I think that the head butler would not dare to not give me face. Ning Yin said confidently, Young miss, you have to help my Hai and Shan. Ning Hai's mother quickly knelt down and said to Ning Yin, What are you doing? Get up quickly. Ruoxue is my sister, and Ning Hai is like her big brother. I want to sit by and do nothing about your family's matters. Ning Yin promised. With Ning Yan's guarantee, Ning Hai's mother was a little relieved. Then, she ran to the kitchen and made a table of delicious food to thank Ning Yan. Looking at Ning Yan's satisfied expression, Lung Ruoxue laughed in her heart. This Ning Yan was also a temperamental person. After getting to know her, she realized that she was not bothered by trifles. In the past, when she was in the Divine Mainland, she had heard more about Ning Yan's violent reputation. However, after getting to know her, she realized that Ning Yan was a straightforward person. She would say whatever she wanted and would not beat around the bush. This was the main reason why she was willing to let Ning Yan pester her. Chapter 1568, Persuasion 3. After having dinner at Ning Hai, Lung Ruoxue and Ning Yan returned. When they returned to their residence, Lung Ruoxue even specially instructed Grape to inquire about the Ning family's head butler. Not long after, Grape came to report, Miss, I've asked around in private. The head butler of the Ning family seems to have a high status in the Ning family. However, his sister and daughter don't have a good reputation. Grape hesitated before whispering, What's wrong? Lung Ruoxue was very curious. There were many aspects to having a bad reputation. It could be personality or personal life. However, if it was a personality problem, there was still hope. However, if it was a personal life problem, then whoever married them would be making a cuckold out of themselves, right? Moreover, she believed that there was probably no man in the divine realm who would be willing to marry such a disobedient woman. I heard that he had affairs with many people. Moreover, the chief steward's sister has been married many times, but each time it didn't last long. Not only that, but the sister of the Ning family's chief steward has a bad temper, which is well known in the Ning family. As for his daughter, she's the same as her aunt. She's not content with her place. Grape said with a gossipy look, Is there any more? Lung Ruoxue asked again. That's about it, miss. What do you want to find out about them for? Grape asked curiously. The head butler of the Ning family wants to force Big Brother Ning and Shan to marry his sister and daughter. Lung Ruoxue thought for a moment before speaking. Initially, she did not intend to reveal this matter. However, she felt that this matter could not be kept a secret. Instead of letting Grape and Lotus Seed hear about this from someone else, it would be better to tell them personally. After all, they were not outsiders. Arg, that's really too shameless. Isn't that head butler just using his power to bully people? Grape said indignantly. Don't worry, Sister Yin will help them. Lung Ruoxue said with a faint smile. Although she wanted to help, it was not appropriate to do it in public. After all, she was only the goddaughter of the Ning family's old ancestor. The Ning family might not make things difficult for her out of respect for their old ancestor, but if she wanted to interfere in the Ning family's affairs, those elders could drown her with their spit. That's good. Miss, the finals of the family competition will officially begin in 2 days. Should we make some preparations? Grape was relieved and changed the topic. What should we prepare? Just focus on the match. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. Miss, the 5th Miss of the Ning family has sent you a challenge, but you haven't even competed yet. Grape couldn't help but remind her, thinking Miss couldn't have forgotten about this matter, right? AI. Poor 5th Miss Ning. She was still thinking about the battle with her young miss. However, Miss didn't take her seriously at all. A person who didn't put her opponent in his eyes was definitely pathetic. I would have forgotten about it if you didn't mention it. Don't worry about her. Just let nature take its course. Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Seeing Lung Ruoxue's expression, Grape knew that her miss really did not take 5th Miss Ning seriously. She immediately sympathized with Ning Shi-er. These days, when the young miss was not at home, the 5th young miss was so smug that her tail was about to rise to the sky. Moreover, the stitched man said that her young miss was afraid and actually fled in the face of battle. However, she and Lotus Seed were not willing to pay attention to her. No matter what she said, in their hearts, they still felt injustice for their young miss. The next day, Lung Ruoxue took the initiative to look for Ning Yin, but Ning Yin was not around. She heard from the maidservant beside her that Ning Yin seemed to have gone to look for the head butler. Seeing this, Lung Ruoxue returned to her residence first. However, after waiting for a whole day, Ning Yin still didn't come to find her, which made her a little puzzled. Great, go and invite Sister Yin. Just say that I'm treating her to a meal. Lung Ruoxue ordered in the evening. Yes, sir, Grape replied and turned to leave. However, Grape did not invite Ning Yin. Instead, she told Lung Ruoxue that Ning Yin was resting. This made Lung Ruoxue even more confused. Another day passed, but Ning Yin still hadn't come to her, and she couldn't see her even when she sent grapes to her. On the 3rd day, the final match of the Ning family competition began. Lung Ruoxue sat in the VIP area, her beautiful eyes looking at the stage opposite her, but she did not see Ning Yin. Lung Ruoxue didn't know what was going on. After bidding Master Ning goodbye, she left the VIP seats with the grapes and lotus seeds. Ning Haolon and Cheng Xian, who were also sitting in the VIP seats, followed Lung Ruoxue quietly after she left. After leaving the competition grounds, Lung Ruoxue turned around helplessly and looked at the 2 tails behind her. Why are you guys following me? Lung Ruoxue was speechless. Just follow me then. When they saw her turn around, the 2 of them actually went into hiding. Sigh. She wasn't blind. How could she not see 2 living people? Hee. Great aunt, where are you going? Cheng Xian asked curiously. Ning Haolon didn't say anything, but his face was full of curiosity. He'll go find Sister Yin. Lung Ruoxue let out a soft sigh. She felt depressed. It seemed like she would never be able to get rid of the words great aunt. This was because she had told them more than once that it was fine to call her by her name. However, they insisted on treating her as an elder. What? Cheng Xian was shocked and asked in confusion. Sister Yin has been taking good care of me. I haven't seen her for a few days, so it's only right that I go and see her. Lung Ruoxue was speechless. From Cheng Xian's reaction, she felt that she should not be looking for Ning Yin. Did something happen that she did not know about? Aunt's been in a bad mood these past 2 days, so she refused to see anyone. Ning Haolon said indifferently. Lung Ruoshu let out a soft, "Oh," and thought to herself, could something have really happened? Although she had been suspicious these days, she didn't go to Ning Yin in person. After all, she felt that everyone should have their own space. Since Ning Yin didn't come to her on her own initiative, it meant that there were some things Ning Yin didn't want her to know. However, it had been 3 days and Ning Yin hadn't appeared for today's family competition, so she couldn't help but worry. It seemed that Ning Yin had encountered a big problem this time. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like this. These few days, there have been some bad rumors in the family. Although I've suppressed most of them, it still affected Aunt's mood quite a bit. It's good for you to go and take a look. Maybe you can persuade Aunt. Ning Haolan continued. Others might not know that Ning Yin and Lung Ruoxue were very close, but he knew it all too well. What rumors? Lung Ruoxue frowned. She had a bad feeling about this. Some people have dug up some of Aunt's past and are talking about it. Ning Haolan said in a reserved manner. I see. I'm going to see Big Sister Yin. Do you want to come with me? Lung Ruoxue asked. We won't be going, Ning Haolan said. In fact, he had followed them out secretly to tell Lung Ruoxue about this. Chapter 1569, Persuasion 4, Yes. Lung Ruoxue nodded and walked towards Ning Yan's place. Ning Yan lived in Fangfei Garden. The environment there was not the best in the Ning family, but it was definitely one of the best. From this, it could be seen how much Ning Yan was doted on in the eyes of the Ning family master. Even though Lung Ruoxue had only been to Fangfei Gardens once, she had remembered the location. Furthermore, she had grape and lotus seed with her. When they arrived at the entrance of Fangfei Gardens, Lung Ruoxue did not let the guard report her arrival and walked straight in. When Ning Yan's maidservant saw Lung Ruoxue, her eyes lit up and she quickly came forward to greet her. Miss Lung, you're here. Where's Sister Yin? Lung Ruoxue asked indifferently. Mrs. locked herself in her room. Ning Yan's maidservant said in a low voice, her face full of embarrassment. Now that she could no longer hide the matter of the young miss, she naturally had no need to make up lies to deceive Lung Ruoxue. At the thought of this, she even looked at Grape apologetically. I'm going to see Sister Yin, you can go. Lung Ruoxue then walked to Ning Yan's room and knocked on the door. Sister Yin, Ruoxue, I'm here to see you. However, Ning Yin had no reaction. Seeing this, Lung Ruoxue sighed and continued. Sister Yin, if you don't even want to see me, then I'll leave. With that, Lung Ruoxue sat down on a stone chair in the courtyard. She didn't say anything else as her beautiful eyes sized up the decorations in the courtyard. This small courtyard was the main courtyard of Fangfei Garden. Although the courtyard was not large, it was planted with many precious flowers and plants. The stone mountain, small bridge, and flowing water in the courtyard were also unusually exquisite, looking very pleasing to the eye. Lung Ruoxue sipped her tea as the breeze blew. She was waiting for Ning Yin to walk right into her trap. Although she hadn't known Ning Yin for a long time, she knew her very well and knew that she needed someone to listen to her. Therefore, she was sure that Ning Yin would come out on her own. As she had expected, when Ning Yin saw that there was no more movement outside, she opened the door and rushed out. She grabbed her maidservant and asked, Where is little Sister Ruoxue? The maidservant was in pain from being grabbed. Just as she was about to speak, she heard Lung Ruoxue's voice. Sister Yin, I'm right here. Lung Ruoxue smiled as she looked at Ning Yin. It's only been a few days. How did Ning Yin torture herself to this state? Her face was haggard and her clothes were wrinkled. She looked extremely disheveled. This was not the Ning Yin she knew. At this thought, she couldn't help but feel a little disappointed in Ning Yin. Little Sister Ruoxue, you're here. Ning Yin lowered her head, not daring to look at Lung Ruoxue. Sister Yin, I've been here for a while, Lung Ruoxue said angrily. Then she continued, Sister Yin, you've been so arrogant these days. I asked Grape to invite you, but he didn't show up. I had no choice but to come here personally. Luckily, Sister Yin was willing to give me some face in the end. Lung Ruoxue's tone was very unhappy. After hearing this, Ning Yin quickly explained, Little sister Ruoshua, that's not the case. You've misunderstood me. I am just in a bad mood these few days, so I don't want to see anyone. It's not pure. With that, Ning Yin lowered her head like a child who had made a mistake. Sister Yin, when you're in a bad mood, you should find someone to talk about it. If you keep it to yourself, you'll only be more depressed. Lung Ruoshua reminded him. Then, she put on a straight face and said in disappointment, Sister Yin doesn't treat me as a sister at all. She didn't even come to find me when something happened. No, I am just too ashamed to see you. Ning Yin said anxiously. You don't have the face to see me? Did Sister Yin do something to let me down? Lung Ruoshua asked in surprise. No, I didn't. It's about my past. I'm too embarrassed to tell you. Ning Yan's face was red as she sobbed. There were still tears in her beautiful eyes, but she held them back. Sister Yan's current appearance is really pitiful. Lung Ruoshua suddenly exclaimed. Her words stunned Ning Yan. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. For a moment, she didn't know what to do. After a long time, Ning Yan couldn't help but burst out laughing. Little sister Ruoshua is really good at making people happy. No wonder father dotes on you so much. Ning Yan sighed. Sister Yin, don't be jealous. Lung Ruoshua said seriously. I want to. Father also dotes on me. I can't be ungrateful. Ning Yin said with a forced smile. Be content and happy. Lung Ruoshua said. Little sister Ruoshua won't be angry with me, right? Ning Yin asked carefully. I'm not angry with Sister Yin. I just don't like Sister Yin torturing herself like this, making herself look like a bitter wife in her boudoir. Although I don't know what has tortured you in the past, if you're willing to tell me, I don't mind being your listener. But if you don't want to tell me, I won't force you. But there's something I have to say to Sister Yin. The past is the past. Everyone has to look forward who doesn't have a past. Dwelling on the past will only cause you more pain. Lung Ruoshua explained. Lung Ruoshua's words warmed Ning Yan's heart. In fact, she didn't want to talk about the past, and she thought she had let it go. However, when someone brought it up again, she realized that not only did she not forget, but those things had also become a memory that she would never be able to erase. A moment later, Ning Yin slowly said, Little sister Ruoshua, I don't know if you've heard of me, but my reputation in the divine realm isn't very good. Although there are very few people in the clan who dare to mention me in front of me, there are quite a number of people who treat me as a joke in private. I got married once, and I chose that man myself. I thought he was honest and wouldn't have any ulterior motives. So, I chose him, but I didn't expect that he was just like all other men. He ate in the bowl, but watched the pot. After being married for so many years, he had a lot of women in the dark, but because of my identity, he didn't dare to bring those women home. But one time, he married another woman behind my back. I immediately went to stop him, and when I got there, I found out that he was marrying a bed-warming servant girl. So I changed my mind. Since that woman would rather be a bed-warming servant girl than marry him, it'll do as she wishes. However, she couldn't afford the price of snatching my man away from me. Not long after, that woman was tortured to death by me. To be honest, I really didn't mean it. I didn't intend to kill her so quickly, but who knew that she would be so fragile? I also caused trouble for my family because of that woman. My family compensated a large sum of money for me. My status in the eyes of the Ning family is not as good as before, but father still loves me a lot. So, even if some people are dissatisfied, they don't dare to show me any face. Chapter 1570, Persuasion 5. After that, the man who betrayed me also died. Do you know how he died? That man actually ate it behind my back and died at the hands of a woman. At that time, I was so angry that I killed the woman who killed him. As for that stinky man, even after he died, I didn't let him off. Not long after, there were rumors that he died because of my domestic violence. Ning Yin said through gritted teeth, the hatred in her eyes hard to suppress. When Lung Ruoshua saw Ning Yan's angry expression, she knew that Ning Yan was still holding a grudge against the past. However, she could understand. After all, no woman would be able to let go of such a thing. Moreover, she had heard that Ning Yan's husband had been killed by domestic violence when she was in the divine mainland. However, She didn't think much about it at that time. After all, she had only met Ning Yin once and didn't pay much attention to her affairs. However, her relationship with Ning Yin now was different from the past, so she naturally stood on Ning Yan's side. She hated men who were fickle. After that, I returned to the Ning family and lived in seclusion. However, the way many people looked at me made me feel as if there was a dagger on my back. I knew that they didn't welcome me back. After all, I was a daughter who had been married off. In addition, my reputation was not good, so my return would only bring shame to them. However, my seniority was there, and they couldn't do anything about it. After going through all these things, I don't want to cause trouble for Father. Although Father is the master of the family, and all the clansmen are his juniors, if there are too many internal conflicts in the family, it will be very unfavorable to the development of the Ning family. Moreover, the Yao family has been eyeing the Ning family covetously for many years, so I would rather suffer a little grievance than let Father worry about me. Fortunately, time has washed away everything, and the initial rumors have become less and less. I've also slowly forgotten about these things. I didn't expect that after so long, the past would be dug up again. My heart felt like it had been stabbed by a knife, so I wanted to escape. Tears welled up in Ning Yan's eyes again as she spoke, but she held them back stubbornly. Is it because of Brother Ning Hai? Lung Ruoxua guessed. And Ning Yan nodded and decided not to hide it from Ruoxua anymore. After all, she had already told Ruoxua about her most embarrassing incident, so it didn't matter if she did this. I went to the head butler to ask him to give up on Ning Hai and his brother. The head butler pretended to be a snake while his sister directly scolded me. As soon as Ning Yin thought of the humiliation she had suffered 2 days ago, her body trembled with anger. His sister dared to scold you? Lung Ruoxua squinted her eyes and asked in disbelief. Ning Yin was the daughter of the Ning family's old ancestor. A servant of the Ning family actually dared to insult a lady of the direct bloodline. Wasn't this offending her superior? It's not really a scolding. She just said a lot of nasty things and said that I'm interested in Ning Hai and want to fight with her. Ning Yin said unhappily. She wanted to help Brother Ning Hai because of Sister Ruoxua. Who knew that Ning Lihua would make it sound like she was trying to steal Ning Hai from her? However, she really thought that Ning Lihua was not good enough for Ning Hai. What did Sister Yin say? Lung Ruoxua asked. I was so useless. I was dumbfounded by her words and didn't even refute her. Ning Yin was ashamed. Lung Ruoxua was stunned. She didn't expect Ning Yin to have such a reaction. Ning Yin usually looked very powerful. Why did she drop the ball at such a critical moment? It didn't take long for these words to spread. Ning Yan's voice was like a mosquito. What did he say? Lung Ruoxua asked in a daze. It's Ning Lihua who said that I like Ning Hai. She said that it wasn't enough that I tortured a man to death, and that I even wanted to harm Ning Hai and steal her man. Ning Yin said, a little embarrassed. Ning Lihua is the head butler's sister. Ning Yin added, Sister Yin, these words should have been spread by that flower. She just wants to use public opinion to force you to give up. If you can't recover from this, won't you fall in her trap? Lung Ruoxua thought for a moment before reminding him. Sister Ruoxua, I understand what you mean, but my heart, Ning Yin was a little conflicted and her heart ached. In the Ning family, apart from her father, Ruoxua was probably the only one who could make her open her heart to him. Besides, she would never tell her father these things. Sister Yin, who doesn't have a past. If you're always immersed in the past and unwilling to look forward, only you and those who truly care about you will be in pain. Those who want to see you make a fool of yourself can't wait for you to be like this. Could it be that you're willing to let your loved ones suffer and your enemies be happy? If I were you, I would only live for myself and do whatever makes me happy. I don't care about what they say. Their mouths belong to them, so we can't control what they want to say. Therefore, we just need to be ourselves. If you really don't want to hear them talk nonsense, then kill one to warn the others. I don't believe that anyone would dare to talk nonsense. Lung Ruoxua's eyes were filled with ferocity as she spoke with a vicious tone. Sister Ruoxua, I also want to be as carefree as you, but most of them are from the Ning family. I can't do it, Ning Yin said gloomily. Chapter 1571. Making the Decision. 1. Lung Ruoxua looked at Ning Yin helplessly. She knew that Ning Yin might be known as a tigress in the divinity, but her fierceness was only for outsiders. She could torture the woman who stole her husband. She could be ruthless to her man, but towards her own people, her heart was as soft as water. In front of her people, she was just a paper tiger. No wonder those people dared to spread rumors about her. Sister Yin, you treat them as your clansmen, but what about them? Have you ever thought about your identity? Lung Ruoxua sighed and reminded her. She knew that Ning Yin would not be able to make this turn in a short time. In a top family like this, everyone's sense of honor was extremely strong. The family also forbade killing each other. However, no one knew what they would do in the dark. They are the minority after all. Besides, they wouldn't dare to say in front of me. Ning Yin said softly, "What about the flower?" In her eyes, Ning Yin had always been a free and straightforward person. Why did she become so indecisive in front of her own clansmen? Could it be that the Ning Yin in front of him had been switched? She had always been someone who dared to think and do, so she looked down on people who were so hesitant. However, this incident was caused by Ning Hai and his brother. If it wasn't for them, Ning Yin wouldn't have suffered. So she naturally couldn't stand by and watch Ning Yan's matter. Who asked her to protect her? Ning Yan's beautiful eyes were filled with tears, and she choked with embarrassment and anger. AI. Lung Ruoxua looked at Ning Yan's tear-stained face and sighed in her heart. This Ning Yin was not the one she knew. Sister Yin, you're Godfather's daughter, and Godfather loves you. There are many people in the Ning family who are jealous of you, so you really can't be like this. Now, even a servant dares to scold you to your face. If you endure this, I'm afraid you'll become the laughing stock of the Ning family. The Ning family's clansmen will also think that you're easy to bully. It'll be even more difficult for people to respect you in the future. Therefore, even if you want to endure it, you have to think for Godfather. As the daughter of the Ning family's master, how could she be bullied like this? Lung Ruoxua said earnestly. Then, will Father feel that I've caused him trouble? Ning Yin asked carefully. Sister Yin, to put it bluntly, haven't you caused enough trouble for Godfather? Did Godfather say anything? Lung Ruoxua retorted angrily. Father scolded me, Ning Yin said with her head lowered. After that, did Godfather still dote on you as usual? He didn't despise you, did he? Lung Ruoxua chuckled as she asked. No, I didn't. Ning Yin said after some thought. Isn't this good enough? Lung Ruoxua laughed. Little sister Ruoxua, what do you think I should do? I can't do something like killing my own clansmen. Ning Yin was very nervous. She clutched Lung Ruoxua's sleeve tightly, and her beautiful eyes were full of bullying. Who told you to kill them? Sister Yin, you don't have to kill your opponents to deal with them. Killing is the simplest way to torture your opponents. Unless it's necessary, I won't use it. Lung Ruoxua said with slight disdain. Hearing Lung Ruoxua's words, Ning Yin didn't know what to say. However, she trusted Lung Ruoxua very much. Her beautiful eyes stared at Lung Ruoxua even more intently, as if she was saying, think of a good way. Sister Yin, take me to that flower. At this moment, Lung Ruoxua stood up and smiled. All right. Ning Yin knew that Sister Ruoxua wanted to back her up. Sob, she was a god-tier master. Who would have thought that she would need a mid-level deity to back her up today? When she thought of this, she felt that she was really useless. Ning Yin also stood up and brought Lung Ruoxua to the head butler. The Ning family's head butler lived in the side courtyard of the Ning family's main residence. It was also where many of the Ning family's subordinates lived. However, the courtyard where the head butler lived was definitely the best there. Lung Ruoxua and the others followed Ning Yin into the butler's courtyard. They went straight to Ning Lihua's residence. Although she lived very close to the butler, she did not live in the main courtyard. The butler probably knew about her character, so he wanted to avoid seeing her. Ning Lihua's small courtyard was not big. There were only 2 main rooms and a small garden. Under the guidance of the maidservant, Lung Ruoxue and the rest arrived at the door of Ning Lihua's room. Suddenly, they heard moans coming from the room. As someone's wife, it was impossible for Ning Yin not to know what this voice meant. Her face blushed slightly, and then anger rose from her heart. That damn Ning Lihua, she was really a promiscuous slut. Someone like her still wanted Ning Hai to marry her? He was really too shameless. Ning Yin felt sorry for Ning Hai. At the same time, she was even more determined to help Ning Hai get rid of Ning Lihua's entanglement. Even though Lung Ruoxue had never been married, it did not mean that she did not know what was going on inside. As for Grape and the other maidservants, they had grown up in a top-class family and were no stranger to such sounds. After exchanging glances, Grape kicked the door open and Lung Ruoxue and the rest walked in. In the room, there were two red people, one black and one white, entangled on the bed. When they heard the sound, they looked up in surprise. When they saw the person in front of them, they immediately separated. The dark-skinned man jumped out of the bed in a sorry state and knelt in front of Ning Yin, his voice trembling. "Young miss, you know me?" Ning Yin sat down on a chair and asked indifferently. "Yes." The man quickly said, but he couldn't help but think in his heart, in the Ning family, who wouldn't recognize Ning Yin? Wasn't that nonsense? "Where are you from?" Ning Yin asked again. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue sat down as well. Grape and the rest blocked the passage to the door. "I am the head butler's attendant." The man said honestly, "Oh, don't you know that rabbits don't eat the grass by their burrow? You dare to touch the chief butler's sister. You must be tired of living." Ning Yin said angrily. The Ning family had always been very strict with their guards, servants, and maidservants. Although they didn't forbid them from getting married, they would never allow such a wild couple. So, Ning Lihua had finally run into her hands. Thinking of this, Ning Yin was happy. "Eldest miss, please forgive me. It was Miss Lihua who forced me. She said that if I didn't, she would kick me out of the main residence." The man said, feeling wronged. "Can your word be trusted?" Ning Yin asked lightly, clearly not believing the man's words. "Young miss, I can swear to the heavens that every word I've said is true." The man calmed himself down and said, even though his status in the Ning family was low, he was not stupid. Not only that, he was also very clear about the dispute between the eldest miss and Ning Lihua. From the looks of it, the eldest miss was definitely here to catch them in the act of adultery, and her target was Ning Lihua. Therefore, in order to clear his name, he had no choice but to give up Ning Lihua. After all, the eldest miss target was not him. Furthermore, with his confession, the BU bitch could use this opportunity to deal with Ning Lihua. This would not be a loss to him. After all, if a man doesn't do it for himself, the heavens will punish him. Protecting his own life was the most important thing. Chapter 1572. Making the decision. 2. Then make an oath. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue said with a faint smile, yes." The man wanted to cry, but had no tears. In fact, he only said that to win Ning Yan's trust. He really didn't want to make any oath, but now he couldn't back down. Following that, the man unwillingly swore an oath to the heavens. As the rules of the contract descended, his oath was officially established. Ning Yin and Lung Ruoxue looked at each other and smiled. Their beautiful eyes turned to Ning Lihua, who was obviously in a daze. When Lung Ruoxue saw the pear blossoms for the first time, she almost laughed out loud. How were these refreshing pear blossoms? It was clearly a white and fat big bun. Ning Lihua's skin was very fair, but she was also very fat. Her appearance couldn't be considered ugly, but she wasn't pretty either. As for her strength, she was only a high-level deity. She was stronger than her, but Ning Lihua definitely wouldn't be able to beat her. She was too fat, and her reactions were slow. Feeling the two gazes on her, the dazed Ning Lihua suddenly came back to her senses and yelled at Ning Yin, "What are you doing here? Weren't you hiding in your room, not daring to come out?" She pointed at Ning Yin in disbelief. Hearing this, Lung Ruoxue gave Grape a look. Grape understood and walked in front of Ning Lihua. He raised his hand and slapped her hard. Suddenly, only pa-pa could be heard. The sound continued. In an instant, 5 finger marks appeared on Ning Lihua's fair and chubby face. After the sound disappeared, half of her face swelled up and a trace of blood flowed down the corner of her mouth. Although Grape's strength was not considered high, it was above Ning Lihua's. Furthermore, Ning Lihua's reaction was slow, and she was even more dumbfounded after being slapped. Therefore, when she was being slapped, Grape did not use any strength at all. Ning Lihua, who was originally the size of a pig's head, was directly beaten into a supreme pig's head. Looking at Grape's violence, Ning Yan's maidservant had a lingering fear and her little heart trembled. Woo! Grape was really too scary. He usually didn't show his true strength. Why was it so terrifying when it came to fighting? Although they were a little scared, Grape acted as if nothing had happened and stood to the side after beating them up. You cheap servant. You actually dared to hit me. Ning Lihua stammered. As she spoke, her teeth flew out of her mouth. However, as the grape had only hit half of her face, only half of her teeth had fallen out. However, that only made her look even more terrifying. Cheap slave? I wonder how high your status can be. What's wrong? Grape asked back with a smile. She rolled up her sleeves and clenched her fists as if she was ready to fight again. Her preparation made Ning Lihua tremble. However, Ning Lihua, who was used to being tyrannical in the Ning family, still wanted to slap her own face until it swelled up to look fat, even though she was afraid. My brother is the head butler of the Ning family. He has a high status in the Ning family. How can you, a little maidservant, compare to him? Ning Lihua said, as if she was a fox exploiting the tiger's might, but her eyes that were looking at Grape seemed to be avoiding her. All right, your brother is the head butler of the Ning family. I can't afford to offend him, but you are nothing. I don't feel any pressure beating you up. As soon as Grape finished speaking, she started to hit the other half of Ning Lihua's face. After a while, Grape said he was tired. Then Lotus Seed took over her job and continued hitting. After a long time, Ning Lihua was seeing stars from the beating. Both sides of her face were covered in finger marks, and the degree of swelling was also quite balanced. Grape and Lotus Seed were satisfied and did not continue. Ning Yin looked at Ning Lihua, whose head was twice as big as before, dumbfounded. She gulped and didn't know what to say. She felt that Ning Lihua was in a bad state now. Besides, no one would recognize her in this state. She had always thought that she was fierce and powerful, but compared to Grape and Lotus, she felt that she was not good enough. Look at the 2 maidservants. They beat people up like they were playing. Woo! She was really useless. Ning Yin was extremely depressed. After being hit for the second time, not only did Ning Lihua feel dizzy, she was also a little dumbfounded. She was in a daze for a long while, still not saying a word. Miss, weren't we a little too harsh? Grape said worriedly. She thought to herself, I'm done for. I've actually beaten him silly. No, it's just that her tolerance is too low. She'll be fine after she gets used to it. Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Actually, she was just trying to intimidate Ning Lihua. She had not even done anything yet. Yes. Lung Ruoxue's words put Grape's heart at ease. As expected, after waiting for a while, Ning Lihua finally understood. You guys dare to hit me? Ning Lihua glared at Lung Ruoxue and the rest fiercely, as if she wanted to swallow them alive. Sister Yen, is there any crime in the Ning family's rules that goes against your superior? Lung Ruoxue glanced at Ning Lihua and asked with a smile. There are. Those who disobey their superiors will be sent to Bianqing, and those who are more serious will be expelled from the family. Ning Yin said coldly. Is this the only way? Lung Ruoxue wasn't too satisfied. There wasn't any meaning to such a punishment. Furthermore, no matter which method it was, it would leave behind a root of trouble. One must know that she had always liked to cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. Yes. Ning Yin nodded. Then let's change her crime. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. Cold sweat broke out on Ning Yin's forehead. She could tell that Sister Roashue was not satisfied with the Ning family's rules. So what if you betray your master? Lung Roashue said after some thought. The betraying master she was referring to was betraying her master. After Ning, Yin heard this. She was a little frightened. Wouldn't that mean that Ning Lihua had no way out? Little Sister Roashue is so cruel. However, at this moment, she did not feel any sympathy for Ning Lihua at all. You dare to frame me. The Ning family won't let you off. As Ning Lihua listened to the conversation between the two of them, the hatred in her heart soared to the sky. She wanted nothing more than to tear these irksome people in front of her into pieces. When do we frame you? We're just having a discussion. Can't we do that? Lung Roashue said with a half-smile. Ew. Ning Lihua was so angry that she couldn't speak. Big steam bun. Don't worry. I won't kill you, and I won't give you the chance to be expelled from the family. I won't even let you leave the Ning family's main residence. Moreover, they'll slowly settle the score with you for humiliating Sister Yin. So you must live well. After Lung Roashue finished speaking, she took out 10 exquisite jade bottles and passed them to the grapes and lotus seed. The grape and lotus seeds opened the bottle caps, poured out 1 pill each, and stuffed them all into Ning Lihua's mouth. Ning Yin was surprised to see this, but she held back her curiosity and did not ask. However, her heart was like a cat's scratch, itching badly. Chapter 1573. Making the Decision 3. After watching Ning Lihua eat the pill, Lung Roashue stood up and said to Ning Yin calmly, Sister Yin, we can go back now. Good. Ning Yin also stood up, still feeling a little uncertain. Just as she was about to leave Ning Lihua's room, Lung Roashue turned to the dark-skinned man who was kneeling on the floor. Go back and be a good servant. If there is any movement from the chief steward, remember to inform us. You're eating the Ning family's food, not the chief butler's. With that, Lung Roashue and the rest left without looking back. When the man in the room saw this, he heaved a huge sigh of relief. Then, he put on his clothes and quietly slipped away. On the way back, Ning Yin wanted to say something but stopped several times. Lung Roashue saw her expression and laughed. Sister Yin, don't worry. The good show is yet to come. Little Sister Roashue, what medicine did you give her? Ning Yin asked curiously. Everything. She'll probably feel terrible. Lung Roashue smirked and pulled Ning Yin towards the competition grounds. When she arrived at the competition venue, she did not return to the VIP seats. Instead, she sat in the corner of the audience with Ning Yin and the others. However, Ning Haolan and Cheng Xian, who had been staring at the entrance the entire time, noticed them immediately. Not long after they sat down, Ning Haolan and Cheng Xian sat down next to them. Looking at the uninvited guests, Lung Roashue pretended to be displeased and glared at them. What are you two light bulbs doing here? Light bulb? We? Ning Haolan and Cheng Shuan's faces were filled with black lines. How did they become third wheels? Could there be someone else here? Lung Roashue retorted. But it's not appropriate for us to be the third wheel. Cheng Xian complained in a low voice. If I say you are, then you are. Lung Roashue was domineering, but Ning Yin could not help but laugh. Little Sister Roashue stopped teasing them. Ning Yin said, holding back her laughter. When Ning Haolan and Cheng Xian saw Ning Yan's beautiful smile, they looked at each other and felt at ease. Although they did not know what Lung Roashue had done to make Ning Yin happy, as long as she did not lock herself in her room, that was better than anything else. All right, can any of you tell me how many rounds this is? Lung Roashue asked in all seriousness. Ning Shan's match is over, but Ning Hai's hasn't started yet. Ning Haolan knew what Lung Roashue was concerned about, so he went straight to the point. Oh, Lung Roashue responded softly and did not continue to ask about the results of Ning Shan's match. Instead, she focused her attention on the arena. Today's competition was divided into 2 parts. Although the winner would directly advance to the next round, the winner of the first part only needed to fight 1 round, while the second part of the competition required different number of matches. After the first part of the competition ended, 10 of the Ning family members who participated in the competition would directly advance to the next round, while the other 10 would have to compete for the remaining 6 spots. In other words, after the first day of the competition ended, 4 people would be eliminated. Not long after Lung Ruoxue and the rest sat down, they saw Ning Hai step onto the stage. His opponent was only a god-tier master, but Ning Hai was already a divine lord. Therefore, in everyone's eyes, this was a competition without any suspense. In addition, Ning Hai was also a hot favorite to win this competition. Therefore, when he went on stage, everyone's eyes were all on him. Although the opponent's strength was not as good as his, Ning Hai still took it seriously. "You first." In the ring, Ning Hai cupped his fist at his opponent and said very politely. His opponent understood that Ning Hai wanted him to make the first move. It should be known that the person who made the first move would have the opportunity to seize the first opportunity. However, he was already afraid of facing Ning Hai with his own strength. In addition, he saw Ning Hai's relaxed and calm expression, and the fear in his heart deepened. Therefore, he did not make a move, but chose to admit defeat. In the eyes of others, this might be a cowardly action, but for him, it was the wisest choice. Fighting with Ning Hai would not only consume his physical strength, but it might also affect the next round of the competition. And the next round was more important to him, so he did not want to lose more than he gained. However, his choice was a little depressing for Ning Hai, because he was the only 2 Sir Gods among the 20 people. Unless he had the chance to fight with another Sir God, he would probably not even have a chance to practice. Lung Ruoxue looked at the scene in the arena and smiled faintly. That person is quite smart. He knows how to preserve his strength. Don't you think he's a little weak? Ning Haolon probed. It's important to know one's own limits. It's only a man's behavior to fight head-on, even though he knows he's no match for them. True experts are flexible. Lung Ruoxue rolled her eyes at Ning Haolon. She did not believe that Ning Haolon did not understand this logic. However, not everyone could be flexible. After all, some people were very prideful and would not bother to take advantage of others. With that, Lung Ruoxue stood up and was about to leave. When she returned to her own residence, Lung Ruoxue went straight into her room, planning to ignore everything that was happening outside. Naturally, she would not know that the Ning family had almost fallen out with each other because of what she had done today. However, even if she knew, she would not care. In the study of Master Ning, the master of the Ning family sat behind the desk, looking at the junior standing in front of him with a headache, as well as the head butler who was kneeling on the ground and crying. His heart was full of frustration. Damn it, it's not a big deal. She had actually caused a scene in front of him. If they couldn't even solve such a small problem, what was the use of keeping these people? The more Master Ning thought about it, the angrier he became, and his expression became uglier and uglier. Seeing this, Ning Yuan did not dare to say a word. He just lowered his head and counted the stones in front of him. In fact, if it wasn't for the fact that the second elder insisted on coming to find the great ancestor to judge, he wouldn't have come at all. However, after coming, he didn't say a word and even pricked up his ears to listen to their reasons. Ning Haolon was even more cunning. He didn't enter the study at all, and instead stayed in the courtyard to drink tea with the first elder. As the 2 of them drank tea, they perked up their ears to listen to the movements in the study. The expressions on their faces were extremely wretched. "Little brat, what's the situation?" The great elder asked very curiously, his face full of eagerness. If it wasn't for the fact that this could be the Ning family's dirty laundry, he would have gone in to listen. The head butler is here to seek justice for his sister. Lung Ruoxue, that grand aunt, seems to have drugged Ning Lihua. Ning Haolon said with lingering fear. Before he came here, he had specially gone to take a look at Ning Lihua. At that time, he was so frightened that he almost vomited. That was because the current Ning Lihua was too horrible to look at. She did not even look human anymore. Chapter 1574. Making the Decision. 4-0. The great elder responded softly, thinking that it was indeed Shui Heir's masterpiece. That girl was too lazy and liked this kind of method to save trouble. However, how did she get caught red-handed this time? This wasn't her style at all. Great Elder, do you think Great Aunt Ruoxue will be in trouble? Ning Haolan asked worriedly. He had thought that Lung Ruoxue had only gone to persuade Ning Yan. He did not expect her to do such a thing. Ugh. The relationship between the head butler and second elder was extraordinary, and second elder's status in the Ning family was extremely high. Hence, he had a feeling that Lung Ruoxue had gotten into big trouble this time. Little brat, you're not calm at all. Shwe, or isn't that stupid? The great elder said without a trace of worry. He was very clear about Shwe Air's character. That little girl might be young, but she had never done anything that she was not confident in. Therefore, he was not worried at all and only wanted to wait for a good show. That's true, Ning Haolan said as he wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. It seemed like he knew too little about Lung Ruoxue. At this moment, Ning Yan also arrived. Originally, when she received the news that the second elder had brought the elders and the head butler to her father's place, she immediately went to inform Ruoxue, who knew that Grape would actually tell her that Ruoxue had fallen asleep and even told her to go back to sleep. God knows how she could fall asleep now. The Yin girl is here too. First elder greeted Ning Yan with a smile when he saw her. And Ning Yan nodded and sat down in the empty seat next to them. She said guiltily, "Little sister Ruoxue is doing this for me. That girl doesn't fight a battle she's not confident in, so you can rest assured." The first elder advised. Although he almost never left the house, Ning Yan's matter these past few days could not be hidden from him. Not only that, but even Old Man Ning knew about it. However, Old Man Ning had no reaction because they were all waiting for Ning Yan to explode. I'll go find father. Ning Yan made up her mind and stood up. First elder burst out laughing at her determined look, which made Ning Yan feel embarrassed. Gorgeous girl, are you sure you want to go in now? They seem to be complaining inside. The first elder said with an evil smile. I also want to complain. Ning Yan said viciously. This matter started because of her, and she absolutely could not implicate her younger sister Ruoxue. At this thought, Ning Yan walked to the door of the study and pushed it open. Everyone in the study glanced at Ning Yan, but no one spoke. The head butler, who was in the middle of his confession, felt a little guilty after seeing Ning Yan and even forgot to continue. Yenner is here, have a seat. Master Ning looked at Ning Yan and said. He loved his daughter, Ning Yan, very much. Although he had many children, those children were like mice seeing a cat when they saw him. Only Ning Yan dared to get close to him, so he gave her more love. However, it was because of this that Yan became the target of public criticism and there were many slanders. Therefore, although he loved Ning Yan, he hoped that Ning Yan could handle these things on her own. After all, he couldn't tie Ning Yan to his side all day long. The child had grown up. He had to be independent after all. Thanks, however, after the storm these 2 days, he felt that Yan seemed to be a little different. Thank you, father. Hearing Master Ning's words, Ning Yan sat down on the chair closest to the desk without saying a word. With Ning Yan's presence, the head butler was not so at ease, because he was afraid that Ning Yan would dig up what had happened that day. If the master found out, it was hard to say whether his sister could keep her life. Head butler, please continue. The master of the Ning family glanced at the head butler and ordered indifferently. Yes, the chief butler replied, but he did not speak for a long time. After waiting for a while, Ning Yan revealed a beautiful smile and said with a smile that was not a smile, Head butler, the patriarch has ordered you to continue. Ning Yan's tone was quite unfriendly, and the chief butler couldn't help but shiver. No matter how much he looked down on Ning Yan, he didn't dare to show her any attitude in front of the master, not to mention that he was very guilty. Master, my sister has been drugged and is now unconscious. Please, you must help her. The head butler said, as if he was forcing a duck onto a rack. As he spoke, his face was already covered in tears, as if he had suffered a great grievance. Although he knew very well who had drugged his sister, he didn't dare to say it without the master asking. Besides, Ning Yan was also involved. May I know the identity of the head butler's sister? How dare you disturb the patriarch's cultivation? Let him seek justice for you. Ning Yin asked sarcastically. Although my little sister doesn't have a high status in the Ning family, she's still a part of the Ning family. How could she be treated like this? The person who had drugged her must be punished. This isn't as simple as just drugging my sister. It's also challenging the authority of our Ning family. So, Master, please punish the murderer and seek justice for my sister. Otherwise, it will only cause the hearts of the clansmen to turn cold. The head butler's mind was spinning. He directly raised his sister's injury to the family's level, because he believed that for the Ning family's honor, the master had to support his sister. His words resonated with some of the elders present. However, many of them were still not aware that the person who had drugged Ning Lihua was Lung Ruoxua. Otherwise, they would not have dared to come and look for the family head, even if they were given 100 guts. Master, the head butler was right. Someone actually dared to drug our Ning family's clansmen in the main residence. This matter must be severely punished. Otherwise, the clansmen will be in a state of panic. An elder chimed in. The elder who had spoken was of a lower status among the elders, and he was eager to please the smooth-talking head butler. Therefore, he was the first to speak up. After that, a few other elders agreed with him. Moreover, their purpose was the same. Although the head butler could only be regarded as a high-ranking servant in the Ning family, he was in charge of many internal affairs of the Ning family. More importantly, the head butler was a favorite of the second elder. There was no harm in having a good relationship with him. After hearing the words of the head butler and the elders, Ning Yin cursed in her heart. Idiot. Now, let them echo enough. They will be crying later. Although she wasn't sure if her father would do as they wished and punish little sister Ruoxua, she was clear that her father was protective of her. The head butler and several elders were talking at once, but the master of the Ning family, sitting in the chair, closed his eyes. When they were done talking and saw the master of the Ning family's appearance, he smiled bitterly in his heart. Could it be that he had overreached himself? The atmosphere turned heavy. After a long time, only then did the master of the Ning family slowly open his bright eyes. He looked around at the people in the study and said in a very cold tone, "Are you done? Do you have anything else to say?" Chapter 1575. Making the Decision. 5. Everyone looked at each other. No one knew what their ancestor meant, so no one dared to speak first. Second brother, you are the one who brought him here. Do you have anything to say? The master of the Ning family lifted his eyes and looked at the second elder. The second elder was his second son, but he was very old-fashioned. Therefore, their father-son relationship was more like a superior-subordinate relationship. The second elder respected him very much, but he never dared to call him father. Second was his exclusive form of address, especially when he was unhappy. Otherwise, he would still give his son some face. After all, his son was not young anymore. Hearing the word second, the second elder knew that he had angered the great ancestor. He was nervous, but he still braced himself and said, "Master, there can't be peace without rules. I think we should give our clansmen an explanation for this." "Oh, really? Then do you know who's the one who drugged you?" The master of the Ning family squinted his eyes and looked at the second elder in an unfriendly tone. Although the son was a little old-fashioned, his character was still okay. It was just that sometimes he was overprotective and couldn't tell right from wrong, which was quite a headache. Moreover, he was well aware that the second elder definitely knew who the culprit was. Otherwise, he would not have brought the person in front of him in such a grandiose manner. I heard from the head butler that this person is Lung Ruoxua." The second elder hesitated for a moment before speaking. However, he felt a little depressed. He did not know whether it was right or wrong for him to bring people to the old grandmadam. However, since Lung Ruoxua was involved in this matter, how would he dare to deal with her so casually? When Ning Yuan and the elder who did not know the truth heard the second elder's words, they were shocked and their faces turned pale. Did second elder treat them as his mattress? He knew that Lung Roashue was the one who did it, yet he still wanted them to embarrass themselves in front of their grandmadam. It was a good thing they didn't say anything more outrageous. Otherwise, their ancestor would make things difficult for them. At this moment, they didn't dare to say a word and subconsciously kept their distance from the head butler. If they did, they would be scolded by the family head. Actually, when they found out that Lung Roashue was the elder ancestor's goddaughter, they were clear of her position in the elder ancestor's heart. After all, with the elder ancestor's status, how could he casually take in a goddaughter? But once he did, it was enough to show how much importance the elder ancestor placed on this person. But now, the head butler actually dared to pluck a hair from the tiger's head. Wasn't he courting death? Right now, it was no longer important who was right or wrong. What was important was the old grandmadam's mood. If he was bent on protecting Lung Roashue, why would he care about what others thought? They dared to use the clan to force other clansmen to commit crimes, but would they dare to force their own ancestors? That would be courting death. In a short moment, many people saw the situation in front of them and decided to be onlookers. Their reaction naturally could not escape the eyes of the Ning family master. However, the Ning family master was very unhappy with their decision to go with the flow. He even made up his mind to let Shue teach these old sly people a lesson. At this moment, it also decided the miserable life of their future generations. Thanks. Do you know why Shue would do this? After a long silence, Master Ning spoke again. Of course, it's because Lung Roashue is arrogant and domineering, using her status as the family head to oppress her clansmen. The second elder said without hesitation. Of course, most of what he knew was from the head butler. He trusted the head butler and knew that he wouldn't dare to lie to him. His words made Ning Yin raise her eyebrows. Was this self-righteous second brother talking about little sister Roashue? Why did she feel like they were two different people? Are you sure? After a while, the master of the Ning family asked in a somewhat resentful tone. Of course I'm sure. The second elder was very confident. Did the head butler tell you this? The master of the Ning family sighed. This son of his was really too immature. He actually believed everything he heard. It was a big taboo for such a person to be in a high position in the Ning family. Not all of them. Clan head, I've interacted with Lung Roashue a few times, and I know a thing or two about her personality. The second elder could hear the displeasure in the family head's tone and quickly explained. Actually, from the first time he saw Lung Roashue, he did not have a good impression of her. Otherwise, why would he allow Lung Roashue to stay in a side courtyard? However, Lung Roashue was the adopted daughter of the master. No matter how much he disliked her, he didn't dare to go too far. However, it was impossible for him to get close to Lung Roashue. Lung Roashue had a beautiful face that could topple a city. Her personality was also extremely flamboyant, and she was born with a domineering air. In front of the family head, she could do whatever she wanted and be as flamboyant as she wanted. This was exactly what the inflexible and strict him did not like. It was also because of this that he was biased against Lung Roashue. Hence, when the head butler had just come to him to complain and ask for his help, he had brought her to the family head without a second thought. And the cause of all this was jealousy. However, the second elder had no idea that his prejudice against Lung Roashue was due to his jealousy. He was jealous that Lung Roashue could live freely in front of the master and do whatever she wanted. He was jealous that she could live so freely and was even more jealous of the master's unreasonable indulgence of her. Even Ning Yin would not be able to enjoy such treatment. However, the master had given all of this to someone who had no blood relationship with him. Of course, this jealousy was hidden in the depths of his heart, and he had not noticed it at this moment. Hence, finding Lung Roashue's fault was the reason he naturally thought of the clan, even if this reason could not stand up to scrutiny. Chapter 1576. The Sharp Eldest, Miss Ning. 1. After the second elder finished speaking, the master of the Ning family looked at him for a long time without saying anything. Master Ning's gaze made the second elder's heart tighten, and then his heart thumped. He jumped up and down. To be honest, He was very afraid of the family head's current state. However, he answered every question the family head asked, so he didn't feel that he had said anything wrong. Who else has anything to say? After a long while, the Ning family's master asked with a frown. His eyes were deep and dark, causing the hearts of all the elders present to be in turmoil. However, after everyone looked at each other, no one was willing to take over the Ning family master's problem. Seeing this, the master of the Ning family could only call out names. Ning Yuan, you tell me. The master of the Ning family said unexpectedly. What did the patriarch say? Ning Yuan laughed bitterly in his heart. He had dealt with Lung Ruoxue before and knew that she was not to be trifled with. Moreover, they were in front of the old ancestor. Hence, he was extremely unwilling to get involved in this matter. However, his silence did not mean that he could escape. What are you guys doing here? The master of the Ning family lifted his eyelids slightly, his eyes sweeping over Ning Yuan twice, as he said indifferently. We were all called here by the second elder. He said that there was an important matter that needed the patriarch to make a decision, so we followed him here. Ning Yuan racked his brains and finally came up with an excuse that he didn't think was offensive. Little did he know that second elder was still very angry. Yes, it was the second elder who informed us to come. As soon as Ning Yuan's words fell, some elders immediately echoed. Hee, I didn't know that you, a substitute master and so many elders, needed me to make decisions for such a small matter. Then what did the Ning family raise you for? The master of the Ning family narrowed his eyes and said unhappily, Master, because this matter involves your goddaughter, we can't make a decision. The second elder said with a slight grievance. Oh, really? Head butler, how many years have you been the head butler of the Ning family? The master of the Ning family turned his eyes to the head butler, who was half kneeling in front of him. It's been 30 years. When the head butler heard the master's question, he didn't dare to waste even half a second and quickly replied. He was very nervous because he who thought that he could figure out the master's intentions actually couldn't tell what the master meant. Also, when a master heard that the person who harmed his sister was Lung Ruoxue, he didn't have much of a reaction. Therefore, he was at a loss, and his little heart was extremely uneasy. After 30 years, how do you feel about your performance? Master Ning asked again. After he finished, he picked up the teacup on the table and took a sip of tea, and his tone sounded more like he was having a casual chat. This subordinate believes that I have always been diligent, and my loyalty to the Ning family can be seen by the sun and moon. The head butler thought for a moment and said, he was being reserved. He did not praise himself too much, nor did he undervalue himself. Thanks all of you. How did the head butler perform? Tell me one by one. Don't make me name you. The master of the Ning family asked the other people present. He was speaking here and there without playing by the rules, which made the people present a little confused. He was too honest. They were afraid of offending people, but if they were too fake, they were afraid of offending the old ancestor. They were very conflicted. More importantly, they still didn't understand what the family had meant. Let's start with Ning Yuan. The master of the Ning family added, and then said no more. You've been loyal to the family for so many years, but you've made mistakes. Ning Yuan braced himself and said. After he finished speaking, he could not help but wipe the cold sweat on his forehead. To be honest, he really did not know how to say it. In fact, the head butler had a lot of problems, but he had never made a big mistake. In addition, the head butler was promoted by the second elder. Therefore, as long as he did not make a big mistake, he would give the second elder face. The head butler is absolutely loyal to the family, and he doesn't shun his relatives when selecting talents. With Ning Yuan's lead, the other elders also knew what to say. Therefore, as soon as Ning Yuan finished speaking, an elder beside him rushed to say, afraid that someone else would say what he wanted to say. In less than an hour, almost everyone present had given the head butler an evaluation. However, some of their evaluations were obviously just for show and did not contain any real content. After hearing this, Master Ning turned his eyes to Ning Yin without a change in expression and said, or you tell me too. Since father wants me to say it, then I won't be polite. Ning Yin stood up and said with a smile. Then she changed the topic and talked about the butler's past. When the head butler first took over the position of head butler, he was indeed diligent and hardworking. However, after he got the hang of his work and got to know the relationships between all parties, he slacked off. Ning Yin said calmly, who knew that just as she finished speaking, the head butler cried out, "Young miss, how could you say that about me? I've been the head butler for so many years, and everyone knows what kind of person I am. You can't slander me." Slander you? Do I need to slander you? Ning Yin laughed coldly. Ning Yin smiled faintly. Although she rarely meddled in the clan's affairs, she knew a thing or two about the head butler. The head butler was a typical bully who feared the strong. If he could speak to her in such a tone in front of the master, he might even flaunt his power in front of the other clan members. The chief butler was at a loss for words and felt a little anxious. Looking at Ning Yan's unkind expression, his heart thumped, and he recalled what had happened 2 days ago. Although he wanted to shut Ning Yan up, he didn't dare to do anything in front of the master. Moreover, if he really did that, he was afraid that it would only confirm his guilty conscience. At this thought, he smiled awkwardly and shut his mouth. Seeing that the head butler had stopped talking, Ning Yin continued, "I won't mention the previous matter. Let's talk about the recent years. The head butler is becoming more and more fond of bullying the weak and fearing the strong. Not only that, he's also nepotism. Many of the important positions in the family are occupied by his people." Ning Yan's words were like a bomb thrown into the crowd. After hearing her words, the head butler's face turned even paler, and he trembled in fear. Although Ning Yan didn't say much, every word was piercing. Not only that, but Ning Yuan and the other elders also looked at him with a very thought-provoking gaze. However, this was not the end. A few days ago, he took a fancy to the two brothers, Ning Hai and Ning Shan, and wanted them to marry his sister and daughter. The two brothers were unwilling, so he sent his confidant to threaten them. He even said that if they didn't do as he said, brother Ning Hai would never be able to make a name for himself in the Ning family. The acting family head and all the elders should know what kind of woman Ning Lihua is, right? Everyone hasn't forgotten brother Ning Hai's performance in the family competition, right? In the Ning family, such a pair of brothers with a bright future were actually forced to marry. Wasn't this ridiculous? I'd like to know, what gave you the courage to do that? Chapter 1577. The sharp eldest Miss Ning too. After that, I want to look for the head butler to settle this matter, but who knew that Ning Lihua would actually dare to scold me in my face? She even said that I'm promiscuous and wanted to snatch her man. I'm sure everyone has heard the rumors from the past 2 days. It was all spread by Ning Lihua. Ning Yin finished in one breath and felt a little thirsty. She picked up the tea on the table and took a sip. Just as she was about to continue, she was interrupted by the butler, who had a livid face. "Young miss, you don't have any evidence. How can you say it out loud?" The head butler was covered in cold sweat. His back was already wet, but he still wanted to deny it with a trace of hope in his heart. That day, when a Miss and Lihua had an argument, only the three of them were present, so he felt that as long as he didn't admit it, Ning Yin couldn't do anything to him. After all, even if the master wanted to punish them, he had to look at the evidence, and now Ning Yin just happened to have no evidence. No evidence? Seriously, there were only the three of us at the scene. You can't possibly be my witness and sell out your own sister, right? However, when I went to Ning Lihua's place with little sister Roashue today, guess what we saw? Ning Yin asked with a smile, neither angry nor annoyed. "What did you guys see?" The head butler's heart clenched as an ominous premonition shrouded his heart. "We saw Ning Lihua having an affair with someone." Ning Yin didn't want the head butler to guess wrongly, so she gave him the answer directly. This is impossible." The head butler quickly denied it, his heart so nervous that it was about to jump out of his throat. Is it impossible, or is the head butler trying to deceive himself? I wasn't the only one who saw it. Seeing the chief butler's mouth open and tongue-tied, Ning Yan's mood suddenly improved. Plop! The head butler directly knelt in front of the master of the Ning family and said with a sad face, "Master, Li Hua wouldn't do such a thing. She wouldn't dare." When the head butler said this, he didn't have much confidence because he knew his sister's character very well. However, it was because he knew it that he couldn't admit it. After all, today was the final round of the family competition. If it was confirmed that his good-for-nothing sister had done something ridiculous, not only would his sister be driven out of the main house, but even he would be implicated. He could not let that happen. However, when the master of the Ning family heard the head butler's words, he did not even lift his eyes. Instead, he calmly drank his tea. However, he was quite happy in his heart because Yen-er had never said such sharp words in the past. If Yen-er had said this earlier, the people in the family would not have dared to disobey her. Head butler, I have irrefutable evidence on this matter. Ning Yen said with a smile, her heart filled with joy. At this moment, not only was the head butler's face ashen, but even the second elder's face was dark. The other's expressions were not any better. In the past, Ning Yen had always kept a low profile and had never complained to anyone. Over time, some people in the clan thought that Ning Yen was easy to bully, including some elders who looked down on her and were absolutely not afraid of her. But today, Ning Yen had exposed the head butler's actions in front of so many people. For a moment, everyone's feelings became complicated. Then please show us the evidence, young miss. The chief butler struggled desperately. Head butler, I originally wanted to save you some face, but who knew that you would insist on me bringing out evidence? Sigh. Ning Yen sighed and continued. However, the evidence can't enter the forbidden area in the back mountain. So if you want to see the evidence, you can only go to the main residence. Ning Yen turned to look at Master Ning. Thanks, Yen-er. Ask Ning Yen to bring the evidence to the forbidden area. At the master of the Ning family's command, Ning Yen happily went to give Ning Yen instructions. Not long after, Ning Yen brought a dark-skinned attendant to the master's study. The moment the attendant entered the study, he immediately knelt on the ground. Seeing that Ning Yen had actually brought her personal attendant, the chief butler was stunned, not knowing what she was up to. Head butler, do you recognize this person? Ning Yen pointed at the dark-skinned man. I recognize it. He's my attendant. The head butler didn't dare to deny it, and he couldn't deny it either. This was a well-known fact. He was the one with Ning Li Hua in the room today. Ning Yen stopped mid-sentence, but she believed that everyone present understood. Damn it, you'd better be honest with me. Is what the young miss said true? The head butler said viciously. He could not contain his anger and kicked the servant again. The servant rolled twice on the ground and then obediently got up. There was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, which was very obvious. Head butler, are you planning to silence me? Ning Yen asked with a cold smile. How dare this subordinate? The chief butler felt guilty. His eyes darted around quickly, trying to find a good solution. It would be strange if you didn't dare. Don't be afraid. Just tell me the truth. The head butler wouldn't dare to do anything to you. Ning Yen consoled. Yes, young miss. The servant nodded gratefully and repeated what he had told Lung Ruoxua and the others. After he finished, Ning Yuan and most of the elders could not help but look at the head butler with a strange gaze, which made the head butler feel uncomfortable. This is not the first time Miss Li Hua has threatened me. Not only that, she has also threatened others. The servant added. He seemed to be cutting off all means of retreat. In fact, he had to tell the truth because he had to choose between the head butler and the eldest miss. He had made an oath before, so he chose Ning Yen without hesitation. He had already offended the head butler anyway. As the head butler's personal servant, he naturally did not mind telling more. He also said bad things about the elders. The servant threw another bomb. Instantly, the elders went into a frenzy and glared at the head butler in unison. Then, they turned their eyes to the servant. Don't talk nonsense. I've been so good to you. How could you frame me? Who told you to do this? The anxious head butler shouted. This time, he was really anxious. He almost reached out to cover the servant's mouth. Fuck. This servant knew a lot about him. If he were to reveal everything, would he still have a way out? Head butler. You shut up. Suddenly, someone among the elders shouted. Then, that elder said to the servant, You continue. The servant nodded and continued. Once, when the head butler was drunk, he told me. The attendant looked at the elders and deliberately paused. An anxious elder saw this and quickly urged, Hurry up and tell me. Don't dilly-dally. Chapter 1578. The sharp eldest Miss Ning 3. Yes. That time, after the chief steward got drunk, he told me that there were many fools among the elders of the Ning family who were coaxed by him and even had to please him. He also said that in the Ning family, besides the master, the chief elder, and the second elder, he was the most glorious. Moreover, the position of the steward was also full of benefits. If the clansmen want a good future, they have to please him. The attendant said in one breath, and his words made the head butler so angry that he almost fainted. Seeing the head butler faint, the elders present did not have any sympathy at all. Many of them even said in unison, Patriarch, please seek justice for us. Don't you have any human feelings? The head butler has fainted from anger, and you're still hitting him when he's down? The second elder growled angrily when he saw the reactions of some of the elders. However, he did not condescend to help the head butler up. And you, how could you betray your own master? You said this when the head butler was drunk. Can you take what he said when he was drunk seriously? Who can prove this? The second elder glared at the servant with fire in his eyes. Although he knew that the head butler had a lot of shortcomings and was greedy for small gains, he had always thought that the head butler would not dare to make any big mistakes because he was timid. Second elder. This subordinate's words are all true. If second elder suspects that this subordinate's words are false, this subordinate is willing to swear. After the servant finished speaking, he did not wait for the second elder's consent and immediately swore an oath. After the rules of the contract were established, the hearts of the elders were even more inclined to the servant. Because if the servant had lied, he would have been killed by the rules of the contract long ago. How could he still appear in front of them in one piece? As for the unconscious head butler, there was no need to mention him. The second elder saw that the servant had made an oath and was not punished by the rules of the contract, so he did not say anything more with complicated feelings. Usually, when there was a need for a confrontation, they liked to let the other party produce evidence. The oath would not be used unless it was absolutely necessary, because once the oath was made, even if there was the slightest bit of fraud, it would be erased by the rules of the contract. Therefore, few people would not take the oath seriously in order to win the trust of others. Second elder. The head butler also said that you're stupid. Seeing that the second elder had stopped speaking, the servant shrunk his neck and whispered, What did you just say? The second elder squinted his eyes, a cold glint in them. It's true. He said that you've been led by the nose by him, and that you believed everything he said. He even said that it was all thanks to you for supporting him all these years. Otherwise, how could he have gotten so much profit? The attendant hurriedly said, If second elder doesn't believe me, I can also swear on my own words. The servant added, but his words made Ning Yin and the others feel embarrassed. It seemed that they had met a servant who liked to make oaths. Wasn't he afraid that he would die if he made a casual oath? Even if they didn't have evidence, they wouldn't swear casually. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. What else can you do besides making oaths? The second elder was a little angry. When he saw the attendant's charming smile, the anger in his heart couldn't be suppressed. Moreover, this attendant had clearly confessed the truth that he had overlooked all this time. This also put him in a difficult position. My mother told me that if you want others to believe you, but you can't produce any evidence, swearing is the best solution. I can't produce any evidence of what the head butler said, so I can only swear to prove my innocence. The attendant said in all seriousness, You're kind. Ning Yin smiled happily and stepped on the head butler's hand without a sound, because she had accidentally seen the head butler's hand move while the old man was still lying on the ground pretending to be dead. No, to be exact, the head butler's fainting was probably an act. Otherwise, his hand would not have moved uncontrollably when he heard the servant about to swear. He was obviously angry. The head butler, whose hand was under Ning Yan's foot, almost screamed in pain. However, in order to show that he had really fainted, he could only bear with it. Ning Yan would even kick him with her heel from time to time, so he could only clench his teeth and swallow the blood. Thanks to that damn Ning Yan, the head butler couldn't help cursing in his heart. He knew that Ning Yan had definitely done it on purpose. Unfortunately, things had come to this. If he jumped up now, he would definitely be severely punished. So, he could only continue to pretend to faint. Fortunately, no one exposed him. This is what I should do. The attendant tried to please her. Now that he had betrayed the head butler, he could only ask for the young Miss protection. Father, I've already said what I need to say, so I won't participate in this matter. Ning Yan said, retreating in order to advance. Then, she sat back on the chair, ready to watch the show. Then, can someone tell me why Shui drugged Ning Lihua? The master of the Ning family blinked, asking despite knowing the answer. Father, little sister Ruoxue is taking revenge for me. Ning Yan did not give the other elders a chance to speak, and rushed to speak. So that's how it is. The head butler and Ning Lihua actually dared to offend their superiors. This is an unforgivable crime. You guys discuss his crimes and deal with him as you like. We cannot allow such a parasite in the family to be allowed to live. Seeing that the matter was almost clear, the master of the Ning family once again became a hands-off shopkeeper. Don't worry, forefather. We'll have a good discussion and give the head butler a reasonable punishment. Ning Yuan quickly expressed his position. And the master of the Ning family nodded in satisfaction. Master, now that the head butler has fainted, should we wait for him to wake up and give him a chance to explain himself, in case he is not convinced? The second elder said. Second elder, the matter is clear. Ning Yuan frowned and reminded him. Was the second elder still not giving up? Hadn't the old ancestor already decided on this? He could understand why the second elder would give the head butler a chance. Gossip is a fearful thing. I just don't want any bad rumors to spread after dealing with the head butler. Not to mention, the head butler has fainted again. If we don't give him a chance to explain himself, it will disappoint the clan. The second elder said earnestly. After listening to the second elder's words, Ning Yuan's mind turned quickly. In fact, it was not impossible to give the head butler a chance to explain, but he was afraid that the longer the delay, the more problems would arise. At the thought of this, he turned his gaze to his ancestor. The master of the Ning family smiled and said, Since second elder wants to give the head butler a chance, then let's wait for him to wake up and let him explain himself. Master, how should we deal with Lung Ruoxue? The second elder asked again, unafraid of death. You still want to deal with Shui, or? The master of the Ning family's voice was filled with coldness, causing everyone's heart to tremble. No one dared to agree with the second elder. Chapter 1579. The sharp eldest Miss Ning, 4. She drugged our Ning family. She should be punished. Otherwise, we can't explain it to our family. The second elder said stubbornly. Didn't you hear what Yenner said? Shui is taking revenge for her. The master of the Ning family asked coldly. Master, Ning Lihua will be punished according to the clan rules if she disobeys her superior. How can you use private punishment? If it was in our Ning family, if we used such a method to resolve conflicts between clansmen, then wouldn't the Ning family be in a mess long ago? The second elder's words were righteous, and even some of the more inflexible elders nodded their heads, but no one dared to speak out their thoughts. Second brother, have you gone senile? Your little sister was bullied. As an elder brother, it's fine if you don't say that you'll avenge me, but you actually want to cause trouble for little sister Ruoxue. Oof. Let me tell you, as long as I'm here, don't even think about touching a single hair on sister Ruoxue. Hearing second elder's words, Ning Yin angrily stood up from her chair and roared, and her beautiful eyes met second elders without any politeness. You know, my words are still the same. If a clansman makes a mistake, he will be punished according to the clan rules, and cannot be punished by lynching. The second elder emphasized with a red face. Second brother, although little sister Oashue is father's goddaughter, she is not part of the Ning family. Therefore, the Ning family's rules cannot restrict her. Ning Yin reminded her, which meant that she should not use the clan rules to restrict Lung Ruoshue. Since she's not a member of the Ning family, then how do we settle the score of her hurting a member of my Ning family? The second elder asked coldly. Second brother, you want to deal with Sister Ruoshue for the sake of Ning Lihua, the sinner of the Ning family? Who was Ning Lihua? She was just a servant of the Ning family. If she didn't have a big brother who was the head butler, how could she live like a direct young lady? Speaking of which, this was all thanks to second brother. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the chance to rise up the ranks. Ning Yin laughed coldly. The head butler and his sister are your people. If you want to stand up for them, just say it. Don't say it in such a grand manner, disgusting. However, I'll also say this today. If Sister Ruoshue loses a single hair, I won't play with you. Ning Yin threatened again. Why, you're really unreasonable. The second elder trembled in anger, but he couldn't do anything about Ning Yin. After all, she was the master's most beloved daughter. As for the elders present, they really didn't know what to say when they saw the second elder and the eldest young Miss brother and sister actually start quarreling without caring about their image. However, they still blamed the second elder for finding trouble for no reason. She was the ancestor's goddaughter, so why was the second elder biting her and not letting her go? Was it worth it just for the sake of the head butler and Ning Lihua? All the elders who had seen it clearly chose to protect themselves in the face of the dispute between the second elder and the eldest young miss. Moreover, in order not to be pulled into the cannon fodder by the second elder, everyone turned their heads in unison and did not look at them, but their ears were perked up the whole time. All of you shut up. Suddenly, a loud shout rang in everyone's ears, and this voice was not unfamiliar to them. Immediately, everyone's hearts trembled. The old ancestor was angry. Father! Ning Yin looked at her father pitifully, tears welling up in her beautiful eyes. Stop arguing. Second, Shui, don't you dare touch her. I was the one who allowed her to drug Ning Lihua. She dared to humiliate my daughter. She's lucky that I'm still letting her live. The master of the Ning family said in an extremely displeased tone, exuding a cold aura. His eyes were filled with disappointment as he looked at the second elder. Yes, master. The second elder answered unwillingly. He knew that with the family head's protection, he could not convict Lung Ruoshue of her crime. From now on, Shui Er's words and actions in the Ning family will be on my behalf. None of you are allowed to criticize her. If I need your cooperation, you're not allowed to refuse. I won't let you off. The master of the Ning family said again. After he finished speaking, he ordered the guests to leave, not caring about how ugly the faces of the people present were. However, after the Ning family master said this, they finally saw the truth. That was old grandmadam really doted on this goddaughter. Otherwise, she would not have said such words. After today, they had to reevaluate Lung Ruoxue's position in the Ning family. Thanks before leaving the study, the elders carried away the unconscious head butler. At this time, one of the head butler's hands was swollen like a pig's trotter, blue and purple. After the crowd left, Ning Yin stayed behind and looked at her father worriedly. Father, your words just now will bring trouble to little sister Ruoshue. After a moment of silence, Ning Yin finally couldn't help but ask. That girl isn't afraid at all. If someone really dares to cause trouble for her, then the unlucky one will definitely be someone else. Shui Er's methods are much more powerful than yours. Furthermore, she's hard-hearted when it comes to dealing with enemies. I'm worried that many of those clansmen who don't have eyes will be played to death by her. The master of the Ning family touched his chin and pretended to worry. When Ning Yin heard his words, she burst into laughter. He laughed. Then why do you still give Sister Ruoshue such great authority? Aren't you afraid that she'll accidentally kill all of your juniors? Ning Yin was speechless. She really didn't know what her father was thinking. Before those elders left, she saw many jealous gazes. A big tree needs to branch, but the rotten leaves on the tree also need to be cleaned. Otherwise, it will only affect the tree's roots. The master of the Ning family sighed. Father, are you treating little sister Ruoxue as a gardener? Ning Yin was helpless and didn't know what to say. There's no other gardener more qualified than her. The master of the Ning family laughed evilly. Father, you actually schemed against little sister Ruoxue. If she finds out, you will be in trouble. Ning Yin couldn't help but remind her. After being with Ruoxue for so long, she more or less understood Ruoxue's character. Sister Ruoxue would definitely not be willing to be schemed against by her father. When she thought of this, she actually felt a trace of anticipation in her heart. You silly girl. If only you were half as smart as Shui. Do you think she doesn't know what I'm thinking? The master of the Ning family sighed. Arg, little sister Ruoxue knows? Ning Yin was confused. Of course, we have a tacit understanding. The head of the Ning family was a little smug. In fact, from the moment he knew that his daughter had been humiliated but did not do anything, that girl probably knew that he wanted to use her to do something. Coupled with the fact that it was because of Ning Hai and his brother, she had taken the initiative to help Yen'er deal with Ning Lihua. All of this could not escape his eyes. Tisk! Ning Yin rolled her eyes at her father, then pulled Master Ning out of the study. First Elder and Ning Haolon were waiting for them in the courtyard. The father and daughter sat down in the empty seats beside the great elder, but neither of them spoke first. You let the head butler go so easily? The first elder asked in disbelief. Chapter 1580. The sharp eldest Miss Ning, 5. Didn't he faint? I promised second that I would give him a chance to defend himself, in case he is not convinced. The master of the Ning family said helplessly, but there was a cunning look in his eyes. Don't give me that. That guy was obviously pretending to faint. Don't tell me you didn't see it. The great elder said in a bad mood. This old thing was clearly trying to whet his appetite. This was preposterous. So what if you can see it? Since he liked to act and pretend to faint, then let him act as much as he wanted. How could Yen'er stomp on his hand until it became a pig's trotter? The master of the Ning family teased in a good mood. Master Ning's words made Ning Yan's cheeks flush red in embarrassment. She felt even more depressed. Boo-hoo. She was caught doing something bad. After chatting with him for a while, Ning Yan left in a hurry. The next day, when Lung Ruoxue walked out of her room, she felt refreshed and in a good mood. Grape and Lotus Seed's mood also became better when they saw their misappearance. Miss, I heard from eldest Miss Ning that yesterday, second elder brought the head butler to ask the head of the Ning family to make a decision. Grape said with a gossipy look. Oh, and then? Lung Ruoxue asked indifferently, obviously distracted. The head butler was carried out. I'm not sure about the rest. Grape felt a little regretful. Sigh. It was their fault that they couldn't enter Master Ning's courtyard at will. Carried out? I'm so happy that I can sneak away now. Lung Ruoxue said with a hint of envy. When Grape and Lotus Seed heard Lung Ruoxue's words, their foreheads were full of cold sweat. They thought to themselves, young Miss' way of thinking is really different. They went in standing and carried him out. They knew without thinking that the head butler must have suffered a huge blow. However, the young miss seemed to be a little envious. Lung Ruoxue could tell what the two maidservants were thinking. She chuckled and did not say anything. Actually, she had already expected what had happened yesterday. She had also thought of the consequences. Hence, she had returned to her room early. After breakfast, Lung Ruoxue headed to her godfather's courtyard, preparing to head to the competition grounds with him. After entering the arena, before she could even sit in the VIP area, she felt a few intriguing gazes on her. However, she didn't take it seriously and ignored them. Before the competition even started, she was dragged away by Ning Yan. Sister Yin, where do you want to take me? Lung Ruoxue asked in confusion. Thanks to see the head butler and Ning Lihua. Ning, Yin said mysteriously. Why are you looking at them? Lung Ruoxua looked at Ning Yin as if she was a monster. She thought to herself, did Ning Yin take the wrong medicine? He actually dragged her to look at those two things. Of course it's to let you see their end, hee. Ning Yin laughed evilly and was extremely happy. Lung Ruoxua and Ning Yin chatted as they walked. Not long after, they arrived at the main butler's courtyard. At that moment, the head butler and Ning Lihua were placed in a room. Furthermore, there were guards at the door. However, just as they reached the door, they heard soft moans coming from inside. Lung Ruoxua's face was filled with question marks. She looked at Ning Yin and asked, "This is Ning Lihua in the head butler's room?" Ning Lihua's illness always acted up, and the head butler was still unconscious, so the elders decided to put them in the same room, so that they could save one room. Ning Yin blinked and smiled. Then, she told Lung Ruoxua and the others about what happened in the study room yesterday. After everyone heard this, their faces were filled with excitement. Then, Ning Yin pushed the door open. Even though they were mentally prepared, Lung Ruoxua and the rest were still shocked. That was because at that moment, Ning Lihua was actually sitting on the head butler. Furthermore, both of them were completely naked. Ning Lihua's eyes appeared to be in a daze, and her body was covered in bloody scratch marks. Some of them had already formed blood clots. However, at this moment, she was clearly very excited. Her chubby body kept on wriggling, making everyone feel nauseated. As for the head butler, his face had turned black and blue since he was not very strong to begin with. It was obvious that he had been unconscious for a long time. Moreover, this time, he had fainted because of something. "Miss, how did Ning Lihua know?" Grape could not help but ask. "If I'm not wrong, she should have taken an antidote pill. Unfortunately, there's more than one poison in her body, and that antidote pill has reacted with a certain poison, thus forming a slow-acting aphrodisiac. However, according to my estimation, the effect of this aphrodisiac should not be too strong. She can only blame herself for not having enough self-control." Lung Ruoxua was speechless. This should be called evil has its retribution. If she knew her place, she wouldn't have ended up like this today. As for the head butler, if she continues to torment him like this, he'll definitely die of exhaustion. Ning Yin sighed. "What's wrong? Sister Ning's heart has softened?" Lung Ruoxua chuckled. "TSK, I won't be soft-hearted. The head butler pretended to faint and was raped by his own sister. This has nothing to do with me. Besides, even if the head butler wakes up one day, I'm afraid he won't have the face to see anyone. So, let him remain unconscious." Ning Yin said very kindly. "That makes sense. I think we should just go back and watch the game." Lung Ruoxua said with a smile. "MMH. However, let's do a good deed and inform the second elder." After all, the head butler is a trusted aide he has always relied on. Ning Yin was very understanding. Chapter 1581, Hierarch Level Bodyguard 1. Lung Ruoxua nodded her head. Indeed, she should inform her master about this incident. However, she could not understand why the guards at the door did not report this to their master. Actually, this was something that Lung Ruoxua did not know. When they were locked up together, the elders had made it clear that as long as they were not allowed to escape, there was no need to report anything else. This was enough to prove that the head butler had been abandoned by the higher-ups of the Ning family. After Ning Yin, Lung Ruoxua, and the others left the room where the head butler and his sister were locked up, they had specially found a guard to inform the second elder of this matter, who knew that after the guard heard their orders, he actually had a difficult expression on his face, as if he was extremely unwilling. Young Miss Lung, can you find someone else to do this?" The guard discussed pitifully. He was afraid that second elder would vent his anger on him if he went. "Hey, are you even a man? What was there to be afraid of? If I wasn't a member of your Ning family, I would have gone to tell that second elder." Grape, who was standing at the side, couldn't take it anymore. She glared at him with her clear and bright eyes and roared with a look of disdain. Grape, who was getting more and more hot-tempered, shouted directly, Lotus Seed and the others looked at the timid guard with disdain, causing the guard to lower his head in shame. He was just short of finding a hole to hide in. You don't need to be put in a difficult position. Just tell the second elder that something has happened to the head butler. Don't say anything else. As for whether the second elder will come or not, that's his business. Lung Roashua sighed softly and said helplessly, "Yes." After the guard heard this, although he was still a little hesitant, he did not reject it as much. After the guard left, Lung Roashua and Ning Yin immediately returned to the competition grounds. However, before he could sit down, the second elder went to Lung Roashua angrily. "Damn it, what a good thing you've done." The second elder's face was ashen. His eyes were wide open as he glared at Lung Roashua. "What good thing did I do?" Lung Roashua was a little surprised. "You're still playing dumb, aren't you? You almost killed the head butler." The second elder was so angry that his chest was trembling and he was panting heavily. "You mean the head butler?" "Second elder, I didn't do anything to the head butler, so you can't blame this on me." Lung Roashua furrowed her brows and said impatiently, "You dare to say it wasn't you? You weren't the one who drugged Ning Lihua?" The second elder shouted at the top of his voice, not caring about his image. "I was the one who drugged Ning Lihua, but the aphrodisiac wasn't he." Lung Roashua was very clear why second elder had come to find her. However, she was a person who dared to admit to her actions. If she did it, she would not deny it. If she didn't, then others could forget about pinning the blame on her. "You said it wasn't you, then who did it? Other than you, no one else has drugged her." The second elder said unyieldingly. He was so angry that his face was red and his neck was thick and the veins on his forehead were throbbing. "Thanks, it's her, or rather, it's them." Lung Roashua said calmly. You still dare to quibble." Second elder was even angrier after hearing Lung Roashua's words. At this time, the Ning family's master, elders, and others sitting there knew that something had happened to the head butler again. Then why couldn't the head butler stop? "I haven't even been convicted of my own crimes, and I actually caused trouble again. It's really troublesome." Everyone couldn't help but think to themselves, and they looked at the second elder with a hint of disapproval in their eyes. After all, from their point of view, the head butler's crime could not be exonerated. Furthermore, the master had confirmed Lung Roashua's position in the Ning family. Hence, it was an extremely unwise decision for a head butler who was about to step down to go against Lung Roashua. Hence, second elder had to fight this battle alone. "I'm not quibbling, I'm just telling the truth." Second elder might not be able to accept it, but it's the truth. "I put a few drugs on Ning Lihua's body, but there was no aphrodisiac in it. The purpose of the drug was only to make her suffer a little so that Sister Yin could get back at her. I didn't want to take her life, and those drugs all have a time limit. As long as she endured for a few days, she would naturally recover without any drugs. Unfortunately, she took an antidote. The medicine I gave her wasn't really poison. After she took the antidote, it just happened to react with the other medicinal properties, so it became a slow-acting aphrodisiac. However, even if it's a slow-acting aphrodisiac, the effect isn't very strong. As long as she has enough self-control, it's nothing. As for the head butler, I wasn't the one who put him in the same room as Ning Lihua. Even though his body isn't as strong as Ning Lihua's, he shouldn't have been unable to resist when faced with such a situation. How could he have been? This is indeed interesting. Perhaps second elder can investigate this properly." Lung Roashua's beautiful eyes revealed a faint smile as she suggested, You're clearly being unreasonable." The second elder was so angry that his entire body was trembling. He pointed at Lung Roashua and stuttered. "Second elder, Miss Lung has made it very clear that this matter really has nothing to do with her, so don't hold on to her AI. This can only be considered an accident." At this moment, the seated third elder opened his mouth to speak. This was also considered his way of expressing his goodwill towards Lung Roashua. After he had finished speaking, many other elders also expressed their goodwill towards Lung Roashua and spoke up for her. Seeing this situation, second elder was so angry that he could not say a word. Lung Ruakshu's clear and beautiful eyes looked around at the elders who had spoken out for her and expressed her gratitude with her eyes. Second brother, the matter of the head butler ends here. You should quickly choose a new head butler. The clan's miscellaneous affairs cannot be left unattended. The master of the Ning family frowned and made his decision. He was more and more disappointed with his second son, but at the same time, he was more determined to his original idea. But master, the head butler hasn't woken up yet. Didn't you agree to give him a chance to defend himself? The second elder lowered his head and reminded him in a low voice. Forefather, second elder, these are the crimes of the head butler that I've sent people to collect. Please take a look. Ning Yuan found the right time to speak. He handed 2 thick piles of evidence to the ancestor and the second elder. In fact, he had already planned to replace the head butler. Unfortunately, the head butler had the second elder's support. Therefore, he did not dare to make a move on the head butler without sufficient evidence. Now was a good opportunity, so he would not let the head butler have a chance to make a comeback no matter what. The master of the Ning family skimmed through the book and finished it in a few minutes. After reading it, he suppressed his anger and said, "Don't give him any more chances. Tomorrow, send his entire family to Bianqing. They're not allowed to leave for life." No one dared to object to the words of the master of the Ning family. After the second elder saw the evidence, he didn't dare to speak up for the head butler. There was a lot of evidence. Although the things above were not very serious in his opinion, the number of mistakes made was too large. When added together, it was enough to make the people of the Ning family angry. Chapter 1582. Hierarch-level bodyguard 2. As for the second elder, remove him from his position as an elder for now. From now on, you will be Shui Heir's bodyguard. The master of the Ning family said again. His decision was like an atomic bomb that exploded among the elders. All the elders and Ning Yuan looked at each other. No one dared to say a word, but their sympathetic eyes followed the second elder, making his face turn darker and darker. Master, why did you revoke my position as the second elder? What did I do wrong? The second elder's face was full of disbelief, his eyes wide as he stared at the master of the Ning family. As an elder of the family, I don't expect you to treat everything equally, but excessive selfishness and jealousy are taboo among the higher-ups. Do you think the chief butler would dare to do all these things without your support? And now that things have come to this, you still want to clear his name. Our Ning family doesn't need such a selfish elder. You should reflect on yourself for a while. From now on, you're Shui Heir's bodyguard. The master of the Ning family said firmly. After the second elder heard the words of the master of the Ning family, he was completely stunned. Godfather, I can't afford to use the second elder. At this moment, Lung Ruashua pouted her pink lips and spoke with slight dissatisfaction. She was extremely dissatisfied with this arrangement because she was very clear that she could not command the old fogey second elder. Shui, since he's your bodyguard now, you can do whatever you want with him. Whether you hit him or scold him depends on your mood. I want her fear. Master Ning smiled and tried to please her. He knew what Shui was afraid of, but he would never give Lung Ruashua a chance to reject him. Godfather, this kind of thing can't be one-sided. I don't want a disobedient subordinate. Lung Ruashua looked at the dark-faced second elder. No matter how she looked at him, she was not satisfied. Shui, didn't Godfather say it before? You can do whatever you want to him, be it scolding or beating. Master Ning's voice was pleading. At this moment, the second elder had also regained his senses. He knew that the family head's words carried enormous weight and no one could go against them. Even though he was unhappy, he had no way of rejecting her. However, he did not expect that Lung Ruashua would not want him either. This had hurt his pride. You wretched girl, you dare to despise me. The second elder's brows furrowed as he pointed at Lung Ruashua and roared in anger. Don't you also despise me? We're the same. Since we don't see eye to eye, why force ourselves to be together? A melon that is forcefully twisted is not sweet. There will be no happiness if you force it. Lung Ruashua raised her brows slightly. A smile flashed across her bright eyes, so fast that no one could catch it. However, Lung Ruoxu's words left everyone at the scene at a loss for words. There seemed to be something wrong with her words, but they could not put their finger on what it was. Furthermore, other than the family head, second elder, and Lung Ruoxu, and no one else dared to even breathe loudly. They were afraid that the family head would target them and throw them to Lung Ruoxu to be her attendant or something. If that happened, how could they still face others? Second elder was speechless. Lung Ruoxu was right. He was 1,000 times, 10,000 times, unwilling to be your bodyguard. However, what was the use of his unwillingness? Could he resist the master? Although he was already a reverent god, he was as fragile as a child in front of the master. As a member of the Ning family, he had a natural worship for the Ning family's ancestor. This worship came from a blood and was innate. Therefore, they were born with the mission of protecting the Ning family's honor, which had been deeply embedded in their bones. Therefore, even if he was unwilling, he could not resist the decision of the ancestor. Little girl, wouldn't it be a greater sense of accomplishment to turn an unwilling melon into a willing melon? The master of the Ning family reminded him with an evil smile, a hint of slyness quickly flashing in the depths of his dark eyes. All right then, Lung Ruoxu nodded. She knew that Godfather was determined to give this inflexible second elder to her. Hence, no matter what reason she came up with to reject him, Godfather would go back on his word. Since that was the case, she would accept it reluctantly. Thanks, wretched girl. I'm a reverent god. Looking at Lung Ruoxu's reluctant expression, the anger in second elder's heart surged to his head. This wretched girl had hurt his pride. Although he was not willing to do so, he would not allow others to despise him. What's wrong, Divine Lord? Lung Ruoxu did not think much of it. Even though reverent god-level cultivators were considered top-notch cultivators in the god world, even top-notch cultivators would not be able to withstand being surrounded and attacked. She had so many beastie in her hands, and one spit from each of them would drown him. The second elder was so angry that he pointed at Lung Ruoxu, unable to speak. You what? I'm your master now. You can either call me master or young lady. If you dare to call me wretched girl again, they'll punish you. Lung Ruoxu's clear and beautiful eyes glared angrily as she threatened him. The second elder stammered for a long time, but he couldn't say a word. Grape, discipline him. Seeing that second elder was talking about her again, Lung Ruoxu turned around and instructed Grape without hesitation. Yes. May I ask, miss, what kind of family discipline should we use? Grape asked in a low voice. She had followed the young miss for so long. Why didn't she know that the young miss had family laws? Didn't I give you so many pills? You can give any one of them to the second elder. Lung Ruoxu said with a smile. The smile on her face was as bright as 100 flowers blooming. Understood. Grape nodded. Then he smiled at the terrified second elder, took out a pill, and threw it into his mouth. In an instant, the second elder was rendered speechless. His entire body was stiff, and he could not move at all. However, his eyes were fixed on Lung Ruoxu. Seeing this, Lung Ruoxu wasn't angry. If second elder didn't have any reaction, then it would be quite boring. However, when the other elders saw the second elder's appearance, they were a little bewildered because they didn't know what had happened to the second elder. He had only taken one pill, so why couldn't he speak or move? This was really too strange. Actually, the reason why second elder could not move was because Lung Ruoxu had given him a drug that made his entire body stiff. After all, his opponent was a reverent god-level cultivator. With Grape's strength, there was no way she could do anything to him. After that, Grape gave the second elder a pill that made him temporarily mute. Hence, the second elder ended up in this state. The second elder stood there unmoving. Even though the crowd pitted him, no one dared to speak up for him. Lung Ruoxu turned her head to the arena, not even bothering to look at him, treating him like air. Today was the second day of the finals of the family competition. The competition was divided into two parts, and the rules were the same as the previous day. As for Lung Ruoxue, she only paid attention to the match between Ning Shan and Ning Hai. Chapter 1583, Hierarch Level Bodyguard 3. Ning Hai's match was the same as the previous day. There was not much suspense. If his opponent admitted defeat, he would advance directly. As for Ning Shan's match, because his opponent's strength was above his, many people thought that he would stop at the family competition, and the truth was similar to their guess. Who knew that at the last moment, Ning Shan would make a huge reversal. He burned all of his divine power as the price and finally won against his opponent and advanced. This price also caused Ning Shan to be seriously injured. His opponent could not participate in the next competition because of his severe injuries. After Ning Shan's match ended, Lung Ruoxue brought the grapes and lotus seeds to the contestants' seats. At this time, Ning Shan had already taken the healing pill given by his family and was lying on the bench. Ning Hai was guarding him at the side, and a few contestants were staring at them with unfriendly expressions. When he saw Lung Ruoxue walking over, Ning Shan struggled to get up. "Don't move," Lung Ruoxue said with slight displeasure. "Big Sister Ruoxue." Ning Shan could tell that Lung Ruoxue did not seem too happy, so he did not dare to move. "Shana, do you know what you did wrong?" Lung Ruoxue checked on Ning Shan's injuries and asked with a straight face. Ning Shan's injuries were very serious, and many of his meridians were broken. Even if he had taken healing pills, it was impossible to completely heal his injuries. The main reason was that the grade of the pill was low, and his injuries were too severe. In order to completely heal his injuries, he would need a healing pill that was at least a high-grade divine pill. And those were hard to come by, so the Ning family would naturally not let them use it so easily. After all, even though they were quite talented, the Ning family had no lack of young talents. Unless they were as talented as Ning Haolon, this family competition would most likely be their final stage. The competition was cruel, but the competition was even crueler. This was a competition to select the elites of the Ning family. Those who could survive until the end were naturally the elites among the elites, and any elite had gone through countless fights and battlefields through the glint and flash of blades and swords. Although the Ning family forbade people from killing each other, this rule was obviously not applicable in the competition, because what the Ning family needed was true talent, not an embroidered pillow that only had a false appearance. In this family competition, only the final winner would be remembered by the family. As for the losers, they naturally had their own paths to walk. However, the premise was that they still had the opportunity to serve the family. For someone like Ning Shan, even if he won, he would probably be abandoned because of his severe injuries. His opponent's outcome would be even more miserable. "Sister Ruoxue, I know I was wrong, but I didn't think too much at that time. I just wanted to win that competition." Ning Shan understood Lung Ruoxue's meaning and knew that his actions were too reckless. Furthermore, not only were his injuries too severe, but he had also caused his opponent to lose the chance to compete. Looking at his opponent, who was lying on the ground weakly, Ning Shan felt very guilty. He had his brother to take care of him when he was injured, but his opponent was all alone. Even his family had given up on him. This made him feel that the world was cold and the human heart was cold. Thinking of this, he felt more and more guilty and uneasy. His opponent's injuries were more serious than his, and it was likely that he would become a cripple in the future. This would also become a worry that would accompany him for the rest of his life. Seeing that Ning Shan's expression was getting darker and darker, Lung Ruoxue knew that the time was right. She then slowly opened her mouth and said, "Shan, you're still young. You shouldn't place so much importance on the gains and losses of a match. Besides, it's not like you don't have a chance anymore, so there's no need to use that method of yours that would hurt both yourself and your enemy. You know, because of your competitiveness, not only did you stop in the competition, you even harmed your opponent. He's only your opponent in the competition, not your mortal enemy. You really shouldn't." Thanks Lung Ruoxue had only finished half of her sentence, but she knew that Shauna would understand what she meant. Shan Air's opponent was not a despicable person and had always followed the rules during the competition. Furthermore, his strength was indeed above Sean's. However, he probably did not expect Sean to go all out and use that desperate attack. Hence, he was not mentally prepared and was injured to the point of dying. In fact, according to her thoughts, Sean's opponent wasn't without problems. At least, she didn't estimate her opponent well enough. Although this was only a family competition, any situation could happen. She even thought that there might be some contestants who had been bribed to do things that would harm others and harm themselves. These situations should have been thought of before the competition and taken precautions in advance, just in case. However, she did not know Sean's opponent, so she naturally had no obligation to teach others. She only wanted Sean to understand that victory was not the only result. Most importantly, she had to know how to judge the situation. Blindly showing off her courage and ruthlessness would only lead to her losing her life early. Sister Ruashua, I will take care of him in the future. Ningxian lowered his head and said in embarrassment. Silly boy, even if you want to take care of me, I don't necessarily need you to take care of me. Come eat this. As Lung Ruashua spoke, she took out a healing pill and passed it to Ningxian. Ningxian looked at the milky white pill that was glowing and knew that it was not an ordinary pill. Furthermore, it was of a higher grade than the one he had just eaten. Thinking of this, Ningxian handed the pill to Ninghai and said, Big brother, let him eat this pill. All right. Ninghai looked at his brother and was very pleased. He took the pill and walked over to Ningxian's opponent, stuffing the pill into his mouth. This matter started because of Ningxian, so it was understandable for Sean to give the pill to his opponent. Therefore, he agreed with this. Sister Ruashua, you won't blame me, right? Ningxian said, somewhat embarrassedly after presenting Buddha with borrowed flowers. What's the use of blaming you? You've given it all to someone else. Lung Ruashua said with a straight face on purpose. Sister Ruashua. Ningxian could tell that Lung Ruashua was angry. He looked at Lung Ruashua with red eyes, feeling wronged. He did not want to live in uneasiness for the rest of his life, so he would rather his own injuries not be cured than for anything to happen to her. Otherwise, he would feel guilty for the rest of his life. Seeing tears welling up in Ningxian's eyes and his aggrieved look, Lung Ruashua could not help but burst out laughing. Seeing this, Grape and Lotus Seed also laughed. What are you laughing at? Ningxian felt even more aggrieved. Boo-hoo. They were really bullying him. They actually laughed at him. You really are a silly boy. My family's young miss is an alchemist, and what she doesn't lack the least is medicinal pills. Why are you still acting pitiful? Grape said with a smile. Arg. Sister Ruashua. Then my injury. Ningxian came to his senses and looked at Lung Ruashua with anticipation. His expression was like that of a dog who wanted to please its master, his eyes sparkling. Chapter 1584. Godly Venerable Rank Bodyguard. For, take it, you can't be so reckless in the future. Winning or losing isn't important, but even if you win, the Ning family elders will think that you're headstrong and not a promising talent. So, don't lose more than you gain, because you've lost more than you can gain. Lung Ruashua warned as she passed Ningxian the same pill. Big Sister Ruashua, I won't be like this in the future. I will use my own strength to prove myself. I will definitely become a peerless expert. Ningxian promised. For a moment, his aura soared, and that pair of doe-like eyes also became brighter. This is more like it. Lung Ruashua chuckled and patted Ningxian's head as if she was petting a puppy. Miss Lung, thank you for saving my life. Suddenly, a loud male voice rang in Lung Ruashua's ears. Lung Ruashua turned around and saw a tall and boorish man standing beside her, looking a little uneasy. The man had a square face and handsome features. He was very manly, and with his tall figure, he was definitely a man with a resolute character and a daring attitude. At this time, the injuries on his body had all healed, but his clothes were still bloody and looked very scary. However, his figure matched his expression, which was quite interesting. You're welcome, it's just a small matter, Lung Ruashua said with a smile. To be honest, she did not want to take the credit. She just wanted to make fewer enemies for Ning Shan. Besides, if Ning Shan had not used such an extreme method at the end, the winner would have been this man. Not everyone will do that. The man was very stubborn. He firmly believed that Lung Ruoxue was his savior. What if I said that if Ning Shan had not hurt you, I would not have cared about your life or death? Lung Ruoxue asked with a smile. This is only human nature. After all, I'm just a stranger to Miss Lung. The man replied without any hesitation. In other words, he meant that Lung Ruoxue had saved him. Even if it was a simple act, she was still his benefactor. If she didn't save him, it was only natural. After Lung Ruoxue heard the man's words, she was speechless. Not only was this man stubborn, but he was also very open-minded. He was a talent that could be nurtured. Furthermore, from his expression, he did not seem to be dissatisfied with Ning Shan. Miss Lung, I'm going to prepare for the next match. If there's a chance, it'll definitely repay your great kindness. After the man finished speaking, he bowed to Lung Ruoxue and turned to leave. Lung Ruoxue stared at the man's back in a daze. Could it be that she was looking for trouble for herself again? And the truth proved that she was right. After seeing Ning Shan, Lung Ruoxue did not pay any attention to the following matches. She brought her maidservant and left the competition grounds. However, after today's competition ended, there were only 12 people left. The fewer people there were, the more intense the following matches would be. As soon as Lung Ruoxue returned to her residence, Ning Yin came. The two of them sat on the stone chairs in the courtyard, staring at each other. Sister Yin, is there anything I can help you with? Lung Ruoxue could not help but ask when she saw Ning Yin sighing. Little sister Ruoxue, do you still have the healing pills you gave to Ning Shan and Ning Bo? Ning Yin sighed and asked. There are. What's wrong? Lung Ruoxue was confused. If someone asks you, don't say there's more, understand? Ning Yin reminded him worriedly and looked around. What? Lung Ruoxue knew that someone must have had ideas about her pills. However, the Ning family shouldn't be lacking in healing pills, right? Someone wants to get the pill from you. However, I'm not sure if they want to buy it. Just don't tell them you have it. I don't think they would dare to snatch it from you. Ning Yin said with a look of disdain. After hearing the news, she immediately came to tell Ruoxue so that she could be mentally prepared. Why do you say no? If they want it, I can sell it to them, but I can't give it to them for free. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. It was a waste to give her this. You idiot. Even if they buy it, how much can they give you? Not only will you not be able to sell it for a good price, but you'll also get angry. Why do you have to do this? Ning Yan's beautiful face was full of disapproval, and her beautiful eyes, which were as clear as autumn water, even had a hint of threat. Sister Yin, it should be the Ning family who wants the pill, right? You're the young lady of the Ning family. How can you help an outsider? Lung Ruoxue couldn't hide her smile. Wretched girl, in my eyes, they're the outsiders. I've warned you, don't say there is. Even if they buy it, they won't give you much. Ning Yin was worried and reminded him again. Sister Yin, if the price they offer is right, we can sell it to them, really. But I'm curious, your Ning family shouldn't be lacking in healing pills, right? Lung Ruoxue asked. One had to know that the grand elder of the Ning family, who had yet to reveal himself, was an alchemist. I don't lack ordinary healing pills, but I don't have many of the ones you gave to Ning Shan and Ning Bo. It's not that I can't make them, but the materials are too hard to find. Ning Yin explained. That's true. Lung Ruoxue nodded her head. The higher the grade of the healing pill, the more precious ingredients would be required. Of course, precious medicinal ingredients couldn't be found everywhere like the huge radishes. They also didn't have a heaven-defying space like Lung Ruoxue. Hence, it was only natural that high-grade healing pills were expensive and rare in quantity. Little sister Ruoxue, I've said what I wanted to say. You should do as you see fit. We'll go back first. By the way, Father's second elder has already sent someone to bring it to you. It should be here soon. Ning Yin thought for a moment and then stood up and left in a hurry. Miss Ning, why did you leave so suddenly? Grape looked at Ning Yin's back, puzzled. Ha ha ha. She's always like this, but when we left, we seem to have left second elder at the competition venue. Fortunately, Godfather sent someone to bring him to me. Lung Ruoxua laughed evilly as a glint of light flashed across her eyes. Miss, are you really planning to take the second elder as your bodyguard? He won't listen. Grape said gloomily. The second elder had been in a high position for many years and was not easy to get along with. Therefore, she really did not wish for the second elder to become her companion. Looking at the second elder's grim face, no one's mood would be good. What else can I do? Godfather has already made up his mind. I can't reject this hot potato. Lung Ruoxua said helplessly. AI. Grape sighed, looking helpless. However, speak of the devil. Just as the two of them were sighing gloomily, the second elder, who had an esteemed status, was carried by a few guards into Lung Ruoxua's courtyard. After the guards put down second elder, they were not willing to stay for even a moment longer. They saluted Lung Ruoxua and ran off with their butts on fire. Chapter 1585. Hierarch Level Bodyguard 5. Although second elder's expression was stiff and he could not move, his eyes were still wide open. The anger in his eyes was burning. If looks could kill, Lung Ruoxua would have died many times over. Miss Lung. A person stood out from behind the second elder and greeted Lung Ruoxua with a respectful expression. What are you doing here? Lung Ruoxua looked at the man who had suddenly appeared and found it funny. He was clearly hiding behind second elder. Imning Bo, the man said softly. He looked ill at ease, and his face was flushed red from shyness. He kept rubbing his hands, but he didn't know where to put them. In. Lung Ruoxua nodded. She already knew his name. What she wanted to know was his motive for coming here. Miss Lung, I want to follow you. The head of the family has already agreed to let me come to you. Ning Bo stammered at first, but he finally managed to speak smoothly. However, he was so nervous that his heart was beating wildly. He kept his eyes fixed on the ground, not daring to look at Lung Ruoxua. Follow me? Why? Lung Ruoxua was a little surprised. With Ning Bo's talent, he had a high chance of being in the top 3 in this competition. Even if he didn't follow her, the Ning family would focus on training him. He would have a bright future. So, she couldn't understand why Ning Bo had to follow her, who was weaker than him. You are my savior. Only by following you can I have a chance to repay your kindness. Miss Lung, you might think that my strength is too low, but I won't cause you any trouble. Furthermore, I will also work hard in my cultivation, and I guarantee that I won't be a burden to you. As Ning Bo spoke, he raised his head abruptly, his dark eyes full of expectation and uneasiness. Staying by my side means leaving the Ning family and your own family. You have a bright future in the Ning family, so why do you have to suffer by my side? Lung Ruoxua sighed and said disapprovingly, Miss Lung, if it wasn't for you, I don't even know how long I could have lived. Moreover, because of my injury, my family felt that I had no future and abandoned me. It was you who saved me and gave me new hope. You are my second parent. From now on, I will definitely follow your lead. As for my family, I don't have any hope anymore, and I won't give them another chance to abandon me. It's not that I'm cold-blooded, but I've recognized the truth. Please understand, Miss Lung. Ning Bo said in fear. Although his family had looked for him after the incident, he no longer felt anything for them. In the past, his family had pampered him because of his good aptitude. However, they had abandoned him immediately after he was injured. How could he not be disappointed? This was not something a real family member would do. Fortunately, his parents had passed away long ago. Otherwise, he would not have been able to leave so decisively. After Ning Bo finished his words, he stared at Lung Ruoxua with anticipation, but more than that, he was worried that he would be rejected. You've decided? Lung Ruoxua asked after a long while. And Ning Bo nodded his head vigorously. A ray of starlight flashed across his eyes. However, Lung Ruoxua did not ask him to stay, so he did not dare to let his thoughts run wild. Then you can stay. However, I won't allow any betrayal. Lung Ruoxua said indifferently. Don't worry, Miss Lung. Since Ning Bo has decided to follow you for life, he will never betray you. Ning Bo said with a firm look. After that, he even signed a loyalty contract with a blood oath to show his loyalty. Hee hee, you're one of us from now on, let's go. He'll arrange a room for you. After the contract was completed, Grape said enthusiastically, "Thank you." Ningbo was about to leave with the grapes, but he suddenly saw the second elder's wide-eyed eyes, so he said uneasily, "What about the second elder?" "Don't worry about him. He's no longer the honorable second elder. He's my young lattice bodyguard." Grape said disapprovingly. "Ah." Ningbo's eyes widened in disbelief. "When did this happen? Why didn't he hear about it?" "Don't make a fuss. This isn't a big deal." Grape did not think much of it. In her opinion, this second elder was not worthy of her young miss at all. He was not worthy of being her young lattice bodyguard. Although he had the strength of a reverent god, a bodyguard who did not listen to her was useless. Besides, reverent god was only SOSO. Wasn't he still unable to move because of her young miss? Ningbo was a little depressed, thinking, is he too restless? However, for the Ning family, this kind of thing really couldn't be kept calm. Grape dragged Ningbo, who was not very calm, away. Lung Ruoxue also patted her butt and went back to her room to sleep. For a moment, only a statue with eyes burning with anger was left in the courtyard. Unfortunately, other than sulking in the dark, he could not do anything. The next day, Lung Ruoxue walked out of her room and first took a look at Second Elder, who was standing stiffly in the courtyard with a few fallen leaves hanging from his body. Then, she went to have breakfast. Then, she left the courtyard with the grapes, lotus seeds, and Ningbo, who was going to participate in the competition, leaving the Second Elder, who was still glaring at her, to look after the house. As for how angry the Second Elder would be, it was not within her scope of concern. When she arrived at the venue, Ning Yin immediately went to find her and mysteriously pulled her to an empty corner. Seeing Ning Yin in this state, Lung Ruoxue's beautiful face was filled with question marks. Her bright eyes could only stare at Ning Yin without blinking. "Little sister Ruoxue, don't look at me like that. It's making my heart race. I'm embarrassed." Ning Yin's beautiful face blushed as she said something shocking. Chapter 1586. A Threat. 1. Hearing Ning Yan's words, Lung Ruoxue's forehead was filled with black lines. She thought to herself, "Sister Yin looks like she's in a good mood." He actually learned how to joke. In her heart, although Ning Yin was a carefree and hot-tempered woman, she did not like to joke. Could it be something good? Her face was full of suspicion. Sister Yin is actually embarrassed. How rare. Lung Ruoxue gave it some thought and smiled. "Wretched girl, isn't it normal to be shy?" Ning Yin glared at him with her bright eyes and growled in anger. "MMH, it's normal." Lung Ruoxue coaxed. "All right, I'm not joking with you anymore. I'm telling you." This morning, the head butler's family had already set off for Bianqing. As for the new head butler, I don't think ITLL be easy to choose. Ning Yin smiled slyly. "Why not? Didn't Godfather ask the acting patriarch and the elders to quickly choose a chief steward?" Lung Ruoxue looked at Ning Yin in confusion, her beautiful face full of question marks. "Little sister Ruoxue, for a top-notch family like ours, it's not an easy task to choose a chief butler. Too many people are involved, and the chief butler is a lucrative job with many people eyeing it. What's more, those elders also want their confidants to become the chief butler, which is a good thing for them. So, as far as I know, they discussed it all night last night, but they didn't come to a conclusion. They finally decided on two candidates. One is our Ning family's second butler, and the other is the Ning family's direct line." Ning Yin explained with a faint smile. She was a woman, and it didn't matter much to her who became the head butler. However, she also hoped that the new head butler would be someone she was satisfied with. Therefore, she had been paying attention to the movements of Ning Yuan and the others. Whose trusted aides are these two candidates? Lung Ruoxue immediately understood after hearing Ning Yan's words. It must be because the various forces of the Ning family had not come to an agreement and wanted their own people to become the head butler. The two people who won in the end should be the result of the two strongest forces of the Ning family. It seemed that it wasn't good to have too many family members. There were too many small groups. The second housekeeper is on the side of the acting patriarch, and the other direct descendant is on the side of the third elder. Ning Yin said honestly. The elders who supported the second butler and the Ning family's immediate family each accounted for half. No one was willing to take a step back, so they were in a deadlock. In the end, they decided that the two candidates would each have a trial period of 1 month. Whoever performed well would be the head butler. Ning Yin added. So, the third elder agreed? Lung Ruoxue asked. This idea seemed good, but third elders seemed to be at a disadvantage. He agreed. This idea was suggested by Haolon, so even if he had an opinion, he would have to bear with it. Besides, this is considered impartial. As long as that direct descendant of the Ning family works hard, he might have a chance. After all, the eyes of the family are clear and father is in charge of the family. No one would dare to play too big of a trick. Ning Yin said with a smile. I wonder who Sister Yin wants to be the head butler. Lung Ruoxue suddenly asked. Of course I support the promotion of the second steward. He's the trusted aide of the acting patriarch, which means he's also one of Haolon's men. When Haolon becomes the patriarch in the future, ITLL save him a lot of trouble. Don't look at how head butler is a servant of the Ning family in name, but managing the food and clothing of such a top family, the profits are very big. Ning Yin said honestly. That makes sense. Lung Ruoxue nodded slightly. However, she did not think that Sly Fox Ning Haolon would be willing to use the substitute master's men. Even if the substitute master and Ning Haolon were on the same side, he was still a level away from the second housekeeper. It might not be easy to use him. Moreover, it was better to use his own men than to use someone else's. Sister Ruoxue, the trial for the two substitute butlers will begin today. The first one will be the direct descendant of the Ning family. However, the second housekeeper will still have to act as a second housekeeper and assist the substitute butler. Do you think they will start fighting if they don't agree? Ning Yin was very curious, and her bright eyes flashed with excitement. Lung Ruoxue was speechless after hearing what Ning Yin said. Did Ning Yin think she was too free? He actually wanted to watch them fight. However, the substitute butler who was on probation today would definitely not be successful. Sister Yin, what did that direct descendant of the Ning family do in the past? Lung Ruoxue could not help but ask. I don't know. Although he's a direct descendant of the Ning family, he's almost never stayed in the main residence. No one knows about his past either. He's a rather mysterious person. Ning Yin said after some thought. Why didn't the Ning family first understand the other party's experience before choosing a head butler? Lung Ruoxue said as she wiped the cold sweat off her forehead. That's the person recommended by the third elder. Ning Yuan and the others should know about him, right? Don't worry. The third elder wouldn't dare to joke about this. Ning Yin said disapprovingly. Lung Ruoxue did not know what to say when she saw Ning Yan's relaxed expression. It was fine if she was a petty person. If third elder had the intention of betraying her and arranged for someone of unknown origin to take such an important position, it would be a huge blow to the Ning family. Of course, this was just her assumption. However, if everyone in the Ning family was as muddled as Ning Yin, the Ning family would be swallowed up sooner or later. Sigh. Sister Yin, I think it should be announced first whether the acting master and the others know or not. At least, we should let the Ning family know that the head butler of the Ning family is not an embroidered pillow, and he did not get his position through nepotism. This will also be beneficial for the head butler's future work. Otherwise, how many people will believe him? Lung Ruoxue said in a serious tone. Sister Ruoxue, you're so thoughtful. I'll mention it to Ning Yuan when I have the chance. Ning Yin said after some thought. Yes, Sister Yin, the competition has started. Let's go and watch the competition. Lung Ruoxue said to Ning Yin when she saw that the battle in the middle of the stage had already started. All right. Ning Yin turned around and returned to her seat. After Lung Ruoxue returned to her seat, First Elder sneakily approached her. Little girl, what have you been doing? The competition has already started. The great elder's face was filled with curiosity, and his eyes kept blinking. Great elder, you're already so old, yet you're still trying to act cute like others. Lung Ruashua looked at First Elder's bright and watery eyes as she chuckled and teased. Wretched girl, you can't bully people like this, hee. I just want to know what you're doing. The great elder laughed slyly, his eyes growing brighter and brighter. Nothing much. I was just casually chatting with Sister Yin. Lung Ruashua laughed. What did you guys talk about? The great elder asked. We talked about some women's secrets. Lung Ruashua paused on purpose before continuing. TSK, I thought you were discussing how to deal with the second elder. The first elder said with some disappointment. Chapter 1587. Threat 2. Grand Elder, do you have a grudge against the second elder? Lung Ruashua was speechless. No, I didn't. I've been a little bored recently. But girl, now that the second elder is in your hands, you have to seize the opportunity. If you can tame that old fogey, you'll have a powerful bodyguard. It'll only be beneficial to you. The first elder reminded with a smile. Of course, it would be perfect if he could witness the process of taming the second elder. Great elder, I appreciate your kind intentions, but he's a reverent god, and his strength is much higher than mine. How can I have the ability to tame him? Lung Ruakshu's beautiful face showed a hint of awkwardness. To be honest, she really didn't want second elder. That fellow was definitely not someone to be worried about. TSK, girl, you're still pretending. He'll believe it if others say they can't do it, but if you say you can I won't believe it even if you beat me to death. First elder did not fall for it. Even now, he was still unsure of how many trump cards Lung Ruashua had. How could he believe that she had no way of dealing with second elder? Little girl, I have confidence in you. You can do it. The great elder added. Great elder, we'll talk about this later. Let's watch the competition first. Lung Ruashua sighed softly and said helplessly. She did not know why the first elder had so much confidence in her. She did not even have the patience to tame that old fellow. Following that, Lung Ruashua turned her gaze towards the competition arena. There were 12 participants in the competition today, and Ningbo was one of the people she needed to pay attention to. With Ningbo and Ninghai's strength, it shouldn't be a big problem for them to enter tomorrow's game. However, as Ningshan only had the strength of a deity, it was a little uncertain whether he could advance to the next round. However, after what she had said yesterday, Ningshan would probably not show off again. It turned out that her words yesterday were still very effective. Ningshan's opponent in the first round was another Sir God besides Ninghai. After he went on stage, Ningshan chose to admit defeat without hesitation. There was no suspense at all. He was only one level higher than him. Perhaps he could still try. However, he had no chance at all if he was 2 levels higher. Choosing to admit defeat and save his strength was the right choice. Ninghai's opponent was a god-tier master. After he got on the ring, he fought with Ninghai for dozens of rounds. After testing Ninghai's strength, he chose to surrender. Ningbo's opponent was also a god-tier master. Although Ningbo won in the end, it was not an easy victory. As a result, Ninghai and Ningbo had entered the top 8. After the first part of the competition ended, there was a short break before the next part of the competition began. As it was a 2 out of 6 selection, the second part of the competition used a round-robin format. This round-robin competition was very disadvantageous for Ningshan because he was the weakest among the 6 participants. Moreover, the other 5 people regarded him as a soft persimmon that could be easily pinched. They all want to get points from him because in the eyes of the other 5 people, he was basically giving away points. The final result was just as Lung Ruashua had expected. Ningshan did not advance to the top 8. However, among the 6 participants, he did not lose the worst. This was because he had unexpectedly won 2 rounds of the competition. This result had already made him very excited. After all, he was still young and would have the chance to participate in the clan competition in the future. Hence, he was not as depressed as others had thought. After the day's competition ended, Lung Ruashua especially praised Ning Shan. Her little tail that she was so proud of was about to rise up. After that, Lung Ruoxue brought the grapes, lotus seeds, and Ning Bo back to their living quarters. As soon as they entered the courtyard, they saw the second elder lying on the ground. Seeing this, Ningbo quickly ran over with worry. Second elder, what's wrong? Ningbo said nervously. Second elder can't die. Otherwise, it would be a huge loss for the Ning family. After all, a reverent god wasn't a big carrot. It wasn't easy for the family to cultivate a reverent god. He must not die so easily. In fact, he was overreacting. How could a reverent god die so easily? Compared to him, Lung Ruoxue and the other two were much calmer. The three of them did not even look at Second Elder as they walked straight to the stone chair in front of him and sat down. Don't worry, his feet are just numb from standing for too long. He won't die. Grape rolled his eyes at Ningbo and said unhappily. He was a little dissatisfied with Ningbo. This Ningbo even said that he wanted to follow his miss. However, when she saw the old man of the Ning family on the ground, she immediately became nervous. This was absolutely unforgivable in her eyes. In fact, Ningbo was nervous because he had lived in the Ning family for decades. His respect for the Ning family had long been deeply ingrained in his blood. The reason why he followed Lung Ruoxue was also because Lung Ruoxue had done him a favor. However, following Lung Ruoxue did not mean that he would see the Ning family as an enemy. Although his family was a little cold-blooded, he was still grateful to his family for raising him for so many years. Moreover, he had only followed Lung Ruoxue for a short time. Even if he had sworn an oath, he would not be able to do so for a while. The habit of protecting the family was hard to change, so it took time. However, no matter how important the Ning family was to him, he would not betray Lung Ruoxue. This was for sure. Ningbo was stunned. He looked at Lung Ruoxue again, feeling uneasy. Oh, is Miss angry with me? He thought. This was really just a habit of his. You help me up. At this time, the second elder who was lying on the ground could finally speak. He pointed at Ningbo and said, Fuck. He had been lying on the ground for a long time, but he couldn't find anyone. He finally saw her, but she was still in a daze. He was so angry. After hearing second elder's words, Ningbo looked at him and then at Lung Ruoxue. In the end, he didn't dare to make a move because he could see that the young lady and the others didn't seem to like second elder. He would be following them in the future. If he offended these three women, he might end up like second elder. Thinking of this, he couldn't help shivering. He was scared just thinking about it. Second elder, you better get up on your own. He's my subordinate. You have no right to order him around. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. You wretched girl. He's a member of our Ning family. The second elder gritted his teeth as he reminded him. He was so angry that the veins on his forehead were throbbing. Grape, continue to serve me with the family rules. Lung Ruoxue ignored the second elder and ordered Grape. Yes, miss. Grape was overjoyed. She had already fallen in love with enforcing the family rules. She walked in front of the second elder and used her finger to poke the second elder, whose body was a little numb and soft. Then, she threw a pill into his slightly open mouth. In the blink of an eye, the second elder, who was unable to resist, became mute again. Chapter 1588. A Threat 3. Arg. Seeing the second elder's eyes burning with rage and his hands gesturing nonstop, trying to stand up but unable to even get up, Grape's mood became even more pleasant. Ningbo's eyes and mouth were wide open, not knowing what to say. It turned out that the second elder couldn't speak because he had been punished by the family law. Sob. So scary. He had better be more honest. He was very afraid that Grape would use this family law on him. Ningbo, don't think of him as the second elder anymore. He's now our young Miss Bodyguard, and his status is the same as yours. Looking at Ningbo, who was in a daze, Grape patted his shoulder and reminded him, I need a few days to get used to it. Ningbo said with some embarrassment, He had never thought that one day he could be on the same level as the second elder. This was really exciting. However, he believed that the second elder would definitely feel uncomfortable. You can get used to it, but you're not allowed to help him. Otherwise, you will be one more person to enjoy the family punishment. Grape's beautiful eyes glared angrily as she warned, I want tea. I won't help him. Grape's threat was very effective, and Ningbo quickly promised, That's a good girl. I'm going to make dinner. Grape nodded in satisfaction. Then, he pulled Lotus Seed to prepare the meal. After the dishes were ready, the four of them sat on the stone chairs in the courtyard and started eating. The second elder, who was still lying on the ground, could only smell the fragrance and watch helplessly. After the meal, the four of them went back to their rooms to sleep. Late at night, the second elder's numb body finally recovered. He stretched his arms and legs, then stomped angrily to the kitchen of the main house. Ever since he had become a reverent god, he had rarely eaten. However, the Ning family still had the habit of preparing 3 meals. After all, having a high cultivation level did not mean that they did not want to eat. The purpose of eating was not because they were hungry, but to satisfy their appetite. Therefore, the food of the Ning family was mainly exquisite and delicious. Tonight, the food that the wretched girl and the other 3 had eaten had hooked his appetite. However, the wretched girl did not leave any food for him, so if he wanted to eat, he could only go to the main residence. When he arrived at the kitchen of the main house, he saw that there was no one in the kitchen, so he looked around. However, to his disappointment, he only found a few vegetable leaves after looking around. That didn't seem possible. The second elder muttered to himself. If he remembered correctly, the food of the Ning family would be prepared regardless of the time. Of course, except for the higher-ups of the Ning family who were elders and above, the other clansmen were not qualified to enjoy such treatment at night. The second elder stood in the kitchen, lost in thought. Then, he turned around and left the kitchen. The second elder was extremely depressed about not being able to eat anything. Without realizing it, he had actually walked to the Ning family's vegetable garden. In the Ning family's main residence, there was a piece of land that was specially used to grow vegetables and fruits. It had to be said that the Ning family was a very luxurious family. In the divine world, where every inch of land was worth its weight in gold, they had actually made such a large piece of land just to satisfy their own desire for food. Needless to say, the only person who would do this kind of thing was the master of the Ning family. Entering the family's vegetable garden, the second elder's eyes brightened as he looked at the green and fresh fruits in the garden. He began to pick them in a hurry. No matter what it was, he put it into his storage ring first. When he felt that it was almost full, he patted his butt and left. At this time, the vegetable garden had already been made a mess by him. On the way back to the kitchen, he picked out another ornamental fish from a river in the main house. He caught 2 of the fattest and biggest ones, and then happily returned to the kitchen. There were dishes and fish, but there was no cook. The second elder was depressed. His hands had never touched the sun and spring water. If he wanted him to cook for himself, it would be harder than ascending to the heavens. After thinking for a while, he decided to make a hard trip to find a clansman who could cook. After he found the person, he grabbed the person by the collar and brought him to the kitchen. Second elder, you want me to cook this fish for you? The clansman asked in a trembling voice. There had been rumors recently that the second elder's mental state was abnormal. Could it be that the second elder had really gone crazy? Those were family-raised ornamental fish. Looking at the size of the fish, it was definitely the largest in the river. What's wrong? I can't eat. The second elder's eyes were wide open as he spoke with a displeased expression. Yes, you can. The unlucky clansman wanted to cry, but had no tears. If the second elder wanted to eat it, would he dare to say no? After this matter was exposed, no one would dare to blame the second elder. It was just 2 fish. What's the big deal? Then hurry up and do it. If it's good, I'll give you half. The second elder was very generous. There were all kinds of fish in the river anyway, so he wouldn't feel bad even if he ate 1 or 2. Thank you, second elder. The unlucky clansman had a bitter expression on his face. Woo! Could he reject such good intentions? He really didn't dare to eat this fish. Looking at the clansmen he had captured as able-bodied men cooking, the second elder found a corner to rest. After standing like a statue for so long, his body was still not very comfortable. That damn girl. If I get the chance, it'll definitely take revenge for this punishment. All right, it'll also take revenge for making me a mute. However, it seems that the time for me to become a mute has been shortened. Although I don't know what happened, I can't let that damn girl know about this. Not long after, the dishes were ready. Although there were only 4 dishes and 1 soup, it was very appetizing. The second elder saw that he was very satisfied with the dishes and called for the unlucky clansman to sit down and eat. After the unlucky clansman sat down, he casually took 2 bites and said that he was full. As for the fish, he didn't even dare to touch his chopsticks. Seeing this, the second elder did not force him. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, he returned to his residence to sleep. The next day, when he opened his eyes and woke up, he was surprised to find that he was sleeping in the courtyard, and it was that wretched girl's residence. Fuck, what was going on? He clearly remembered that he had returned to his own room. Why was he in that wretched girl's territory when he opened his eyes? Was there a ghost? He didn't believe that Lung Ruoxue could kidnap him without him knowing. After all, he was a reverent god. What was a reverent god? That was a peak-level expert of the divine realm. How could a mid-level deity possibly stand against a reverent god? No matter how he thought about it, he could not figure it out. Furthermore, when he saw his current situation, he was so angry that his face turned green. The veins on his forehead popped out, and his chest trembled because he was completely naked under the blanket. The second elder is awake. Grape's voice rang in the second elder's ears. Oomph. Looking at the 4 people in front of him, the second elder snorted coldly and turned his head away. Second elder, you're so arrogant. However, you're no longer the second elder of the Ning family, and you still dare to give my family's young miss a hard time. He really refused a toast only to drink a forfeit. Miss, do you want to be punished by the family law? You're courting death, Grape said angrily, her beautiful eyes spitting fire as she glared at the second elder. Chapter 1589. A Threat for Wretched Girl, how dare you speak to me like this? After hearing Grape's words, the second elder was so angry that he jumped up from the ground. As the blanket on his body fell off, his naked body was revealed to the 4 of them. Upon seeing this, Grape hurriedly took out a memory crystal and snapped a photo of second elder. Lung Ruoxue and the other 2 turned around in unison. Wretched girl, what are you doing? The second elder saw the memory crystal in Grape's hand and became even angrier. However, in his anger, he completely forgot that he was naked. Second elder, although your figure isn't that great, don't waste it. I believe that many people will be interested in your naked body. Grape said with a smirk. Damn it. The second elder suddenly remembered that he was not wearing any clothes. He quickly picked up the blanket on the ground and wrapped himself up. Then he stretched out his arm to grab the grapes. Grape's mind shifted, and he kept the memory crystal into his ring. Then he nimbly dodged, avoiding the second elder's demonic claws. Seeing this, the second elder continued to reach out for the grape. However, compared to the second elder, who was wrapped in a blanket and could not move freely, the grape was much more agile. Just like that, the grape and the second elder began to chase each other in the courtyard. Miss, why don't we help Grape? The second elder is a reverent god. Lotus Seed looked at the 2 people chasing each other in the courtyard and said worriedly. She was afraid that the second elder would be angry and kill the grapes. No need. The second elder won't be able to catch her. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly as a cunning glint flashed across her beautiful eyes. Then she sat down on the stone chair again, ready to watch a good show. The second elder chased after the grapes, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not catch the grapes that were as slippery as loaches. Furthermore, He had to pull the blanket with one hand. It was truly rather tiring. Not long after, he was drenched in sweat and panting heavily. "What you guys doing?" Suddenly, a deafening roar rang in Lung Ruakshu's and the others' ears. Lung Ruashue and the rest looked towards the direction of the voice and saw the Ning family's master and grand elder leading a group of people standing at the entrance of the courtyard. The Ning family's master's face was ashen, while the grand elder had a gloating expression on his face. As for the others, they were all dumbfounded. "Second brother, what are you doing?" The master of the Ning family walked into the courtyard unhappily with a dark face, then sat down on an empty stone chair. "Master, second elder's heart trembled, and cold sweat immediately appeared on his forehead. What should he say? Did he say that someone had recorded his naked body? If this matter was known to others, he would lose all his face. Woo! This hateful woman, she was really too evil. You what? You're a reverent god after all, but you're actually wrapped in a blanket and chasing a maidservant in the courtyard. What kind of behavior is this? If word gets out, wouldn't my Ning family's face be completely lost by you?" The master of the Ning family was furious. "Master, I know I was wrong." The second elder lowered his head and said gloomily. However, the resentment he felt towards Lung Ruashue and the others grew even deeper. "Why aren't you getting back and putting on your clothes? What a disgrace." The master of the Ning family ordered. "Yes, yes," the second elder replied obediently and disappeared in a flash. After the second elder left, Lung Ruashue looked at her godfather with a faint smile. "Godfather, what are you doing here so early in the morning?" "What? You don't want to see your godfather?" The master of the Ning family said angrily. "How can that be? Oh, is godfather here to freeload for a meal?" Lung Ruashue guessed with a smile. The master of the Ning family was a little embarrassed. Shuer had guessed it right. He had brought so many people here to let them learn how to cook from Shuer. However, they seemed to have come at the wrong time. "Shuer, what the hell were you guys doing just now?" The master of the Ning family changed the topic. The smile on his face was much more amiable than before, so much so that the Ning family members who had come with him couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. The master's face changed faster than turning the pages of a book. "Nothing much. Grape and second elder were just playing around," Lung Ruashue said perfunctorily. "Oh," the master of the Ning family nodded, and then said, "Shuer, let these two maidservants of yours teach them how to cook." "Why?" Lung Ruashue was a little bewildered. For what she knew, the Ning family chef's dishes were not bad. The food they make is always lacking in taste. It's not as good as the food your two maidservants make. The master of the Ning family said with a look of disdain. "All right then," Lung Ruashue nodded. This wasn't a big deal. Following that, Grape and Lotus Seed brought the group of people that Master Ning had brought to the kitchen to observe. After they had breakfast at Lung Ruakshu's place, they went to the competition grounds together. As soon as he sat down in the guest seat, Ning Yuan came to the master of the Ning family with a dark face and reported in a low voice, "Old ancestor, there was a thief in our house last night. Who would be so bold as to steal from the Ning family? Didn't the guards who were patrolling last night notice?" The master of the Ning family raised his eyebrows slightly and said in disbelief. He thought that the Ning family's defense was already one of the best in the divine world. If a thief really dared to come, he would not be able to leave alive. "Old ancestor, it should be the work of a traitor," Ning Yuan continued. "A traitor? What did you lose? Investigate thoroughly. After the investigation, you must be severely punished." The master of the Ning family was very angry, and the consequences were very serious. If it was an outsider, he might not be so angry, but not only could he not let this traitor go, but he also had to kill 100 of them. After all, there was a good saying, it's hard to guard against a thief in the house if you're on guard day and night. We lost some fruits and vegetables, as well as 2 ornamental fish. We also found some fish bones in the kitchen. Ning Yuan said helplessly. To be honest, the old ancestor's words made him feel a little embarrassed. He did not lose anything valuable, so he did not know if he should follow the old ancestors' instructions. What kind of person was so wicked? You even stole these things. The master of the Ning family was speechless. Although these things were limited every day, if the clansmen in the main house wanted to eat, they only needed to inform the second housekeeper to record the bill. Why did they have to steal it in the middle of the night? This person was too lacking in class. We're still investigating. Ning Yuan was very depressed. Investigate. If you find out, just give him a warning. The master of the Ning family sighed. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed that nothing like this had ever happened in the Ning family for so many years. Yes, Ning Yuan nodded and returned to his seat without a sound. When Lung Ruoxue heard the conversation between her godfather and Ning Yuan, she was already laughing in her heart. She knew who the vegetable thief was, but she could only pretend that she didn't know because of the second elder. After all, the second elder was her man now. Following that, Lung Ruoxue turned her gaze towards the competition arena. Chapter 1590. A Threat 5. There were only 8 contestants left in today's competition. At this time, the 8 contestants were already standing on the rings with high fighting spirit. The 8 of them were fighting against each other, and the 4 rings would also compete at the same time. This was also to show the fairness of the competition and to prevent people from secretly playing tricks. The winner of the first round would advance directly. The other 4 contestants would go through a round-robin competition like yesterday's competition, and only one person would enter the final. With the referee's whistle, the matches on the 4 rings officially began. Ning Hai's opponent was the Sir God, who was at the same level as him. After the 2 of them drew a group, the other participants heaved a sigh of relief. Ning Hai and the Monarch God had long wanted to fight each other. Therefore, both of them held back their energy. Their group's competition was also treated as a preview for the battle for the championship by the audience. On the arena, Ning Hai Xiao looked at his opponent with a confident smile. I've long heard about you. Ning Hai cupped his fist slightly. Thanks for letting me win. Ning Hai's opponent also saluted back. Because the order of fighting was decided by drawing lots, he was the first one to fight in this match. Ning Hai nodded and stared at his opponent with his bright eyes. In an instant, the opponent made his move. An aqua-blue dragon soared into the sky and pounced at Ning Hai. Seeing this, Ning Hai condensed a 7-colored phoenix with his earth-type divine power and met the aqua-blue dragon fearlessly. In an instant, the dragon and phoenix were entangled together, causing dazzling sparks to fly. After the next attack, it was time to compete in speed. Ning Hai's speed was obviously faster than his opponent's. Before his opponent could make another move, he also used his water divine power to condense a light blue phoenix. The phoenix was semi-transparent, its long tail feathers floating in the air. Its lively eyes were fixed on its opponent, and suddenly, a loud phoenix cry resounded through the sky. Immediately after, the beautiful phoenix gracefully flew towards its opponent. Seeing this, Ning Hai's opponent used his divine power to form a giant blue dragon. A dragon and a phoenix met in midair. A collision. A bang was heard. With a loud sound, a dazzling light shot into the sky. Then the 2 dragons and 2 phoenixes dancing in the air were in a stalemate. This kind of competition was not only a competition of levels, but also the storage of Shun power in the body. Under normal circumstances, the higher the level of a deity, the more divine energy would be stored in their body. However, there would always be 1 or 2 abnormal beings who were different from the rest. For example, Lung Ruoxue. Although her strength was only at the mid-level deity level, the abnormal amount of divine energy in her body was so much that it was almost in a liquid state. Hence, level did not determine one's strength. However, it was fortunate that there were not many abnormal beings in the divine realm, and one like Lung Ruoxue was definitely one of a kind. Otherwise, how could the others live? Lung Ruoxue, who was sitting on the stage, had been watching Ning Hai's match. However, when she saw the 2 of them in a stalemate, She knew clearly that whoever had more divine power would be the final winner. Just as Lung Ruoxua had expected, after the two of them had been in a stalemate for a while, Ning Hai's opponent's physical strength was gradually running out, and his divine power was almost exhausted. The divine power on the two dragons that he had conjured with his divine power was slowly dissipating and becoming more and more transparent. After a while, Ning Hai's opponent wisely chose to admit defeat. This way, Ning Hai successfully entered the final round of the competition. However, after the end of this match, his physical strength and divine power were also close to being exhausted. Before the end of Ning Hai's match, the other 3 matches had already ended, and Ning Bo had successfully entered the final. After the end of this match, they would have 3 days of rest. After watching Ning Hai's match, Lung Ruoxua brought the grapes and lotus seed back to her residence. When they returned, Lung Ruoxua did not see the second elder, so she ordered the guards to bring him over. In the garden, looking at the second elder's extremely unwilling expression, Lung Ruoxua could not help but laugh in her heart. Initially, the guard was afraid that the second elder would not be willing to come with them, and they were not second elder's match. It was only after Lung Ruoxua handed the guard a memory crystal and said that as long as they had this, the second elder would definitely come with them. Only then did the guard feel at ease, even though they did not know what was recorded inside. When the second elder saw the memory crystal, he immediately snatched it over and followed them to Lung Ruoxua's residence with a dark expression. Seeing that the mission was completed, the guard immediately disappeared. The second elder glared at Lung Ruoxua, his eyes spitting fire as he roared, "Damn it! Give me the memory crystal!" The second elder was very angry. This hateful woman actually used his naked photo to threaten him. Whoa, this is too much. And he couldn't hit her, otherwise he would be the one in trouble. Because he knew that once he made a move and called the family head over, the family head would not let him off. I want tea. That's the evidence. How am I going to threaten you after I give it to you? However, as long as you're obedient, I promise that no one in the divinity will see your naked body. You know what I mean? Lung Ruoxua laughed evilly. A cold glint flashed across the depths of her beautiful eyes. She knew that the second elder was very angry at this moment. So, while she was angry at him, she also had to guard against the second elder's desperation. Second elder's chest heaved up and down as he pointed at Lung Ruoxua. His body began to tremble again. However, no matter how angry he was, Lung Ruoxua treated him like air and ignored him completely. Second elder, I was actually forced to do this. I know you're not willing to be my bodyguard, and I'm not willing to either. But what's the use of being unwilling now? Neither of us can change this fact, and your strength is so high. If I don't have something against you in my hands, they'll be bullied to death by you. Lung Ruoxua said with an aggrieved expression. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.